Hello and welcome back to another episode of Half a Clue Movie Review. Spooky-tober version, because it's, October, which is the month of...
Spookiness.
What's at the end of the month of October? Does anybody remember? Is it Christmas?
I think
it's All Hallows Eve.
New Year's?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Valentine's
All Saints
Day?
Day, I think.
Yeah.
President's Day?
Michael Myers Day.
Michael Myers Day?
Yeah.
Is there some kind of spooky holiday at the end of this month? Does anybody know?
Yeah, it's the end of the Halloween franchise.
We'll see what happens. Yeah.
Oh, Halloween. Yeah, who the fuck cares about the new Halloween movies?
They kill, apparently.
Halloween Kills.
Yeah.
That's what they should have called
The
the new
first
Dexter
remake
season.
was not that bad, I think. Honestly, it's better than...
Like, talking about the Rob Zombie one?
No. I was talking
Robert
about...
Zombie?
I
It's
guess
a
not a
reboot,
remake.
right? It's like a reboot. Well,
I mean, it's like a reboot of the sequels. It's like...
yeah, it ignores everything after two.
Horror film franchises
after one,
have the
actually.
most convoluted timelines ever.
I've only ever seen the OG one.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
And that's probably fine.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
that's fine.
mostly
Well,
fine.
I mean, the second one is the best sequel. The third one is weird.
What is the third one? Is the anthology one?
Yeah,
right?
third one is like...
I actually
another
kind of
Mars.
want to see that one for some reason.
The Paul Rudd one is number 5 or 6. Right?
Paul Rudd? Why did I...
He's in one. He was almost in the new Halloween
What about
movie.
H2O?
Interesting.
Yeah, that's a long time. That's when Jamie Lee Curtis comes back and stuff.
Yeah, that was like a sequel to, I think, only the second film or
Yeah.
I
something.
like how all of them are like only sequels to the ones they want to be sequels to.
That's why it's one of the most convoluted movie timelines ever.
No.
Like,
there's a lot.
well, hold on.
Okay, well, I
you
mean-
want to go through the whole thing? It's like...
Well, no, I mean, it is convoluted, but I'm saying like other horror franchises. I think, not equally. I don't know, because they all have their weird mix and match. Because you have Jason who has like 13 parts. Like there's like the different studios and stuff like that.
Sucks.
Friday the 13th has a very convoluted
Uriel, my friend, would
storyline.
kill you.
I know. They're diehard Friday the 13th fans. I will say, for me, I was always more partial to Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes, me too. I'm more of a Nightmare on Elm Street.
That was the first real horror franchise that I invested
Prime
in.
time, bitch.
That one I've seen, I think, every single one of them except for
The second one had that
the one before New Nightmare. I don't remember which one that one was.
The one before, because there was like the first one, and then this is all relevant because we're all
we're talking horror films. This is
There's the first one. The second one had like the homosexual overtone thing. I remember they had that one.
Which I only rewatched. I rewatched this week actually. The second one, which I had no idea that there was that overtones the first time I watched it because I was like pretty young.
Yeah.
And the second time I watched it, I was like, oh wait. So yeah, I think this guy's gay. I didn't even realize.
I definitely want to rewatch all the Nightmare on Elm Street.
I remember as a kid liking the third one the most.
That's the Dream Warriors, right?
Yeah.
The fourth one is a sequel to that. Is that the one where Nancy dies, right?
The
fourth one. Yeah, that's the one that he dies. She dies.
You know what's funny? I was saying I thought I only saw the first 3, but actually I do remember that happening. So I guess I have seen. The
Yeah.
fourth
So
one.
honestly,
you
the
guys
third
seen
and the
that?
fourth one sometimes blend a little bit in my mind. But
Have you guys seen Freddy versus Jason?
I've
yes,
not.
that was
Yeah.
actually
We're just talking about this off the podcast.
that was actually the first
Same.
first
Yeah,
of
same.
both of those franchises I watched.
same.
And it's got its
that one had-
strengths, but
That one had a
it's
like what's it called? What's her name? She was with Beyonce in a what's it called? In a group together. The
the
three
Destiny's
girls.
Child.
Yeah, that was one of the Destiny Child's members in there.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
Oh,
she's
yes,
a-
yes, I do.
yeah.
Fuck, I forgot her name. But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
When are we going to talk about the Leprechaun?
The Leprechaun franchise. Now that one is wild.
He goes to space. He goes to the hood.
Dude, Friday the 13th to like he goes like Jason goes to
Jason
Manhattan,
X.
Jason X.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah. Jason goes to space too.
I'm honestly down one day Friday
I
the
want a
13th to
modern
watch it.
day
Yeah.
villain versus villain movie. Can we get like a King King Pyman versus the Babadook?
That'd be cool. Yeah. Well,
Honestly,
Babadook would get his ass whooped. Yeah, that's not even
He's like, ooh, I'm an allegory for
Can
depression.
we get Vagul versus King Pyman?
Yeah, they're similar.
The only matchup for Pyman from Hereditary would be Philip from The Witch.
Yeah,
Philip.
King
Exactly.
Payman. Yeah. Oh yeah, Black Phillip from
That's the
Witch.
only match.
You mean
possibly.
Satan?
Yeah, I mean, that's the only way that like that actually
Yeah.
makes like power level kind of. Even
Yeah.
though
I
Black
Think of
Phillip
the
will win.
worst mismatch ever. Can we get
The octopus from the lighthouse versus
That'd be funny. The octopus from the lighthouse versus the cult in Hereditary. Not Hereditary. Midsummer.
Midsummer.
Midsommar. That'd be hilarious. Just seeing the
Yeah,
octopus and they're like all like they see one and they get ripped apart, so they go
It's like there just really aren't any like big name modern slasher.
There's no like horror mascots anymore.
No, yeah,
which is fine.
I think just horror has evolved over time.
Can we get
like,
the
there's
dad
some,
from
but
Get Out versus like
the Demogorgon from
Yeah, dude. Could you imagine him doing like a brain experiment on a Demogorgon?
Yeah, all the copies from Us.
All of the copies versus Us versus the Demogorgon.
When was the last great slasher horror icon?
It's been a while. We don't really. I know a lot of people like the Happy Death Day movies, like even though they're
the
kind
baby face thing.
Yeah,
I think we had I guess in their Scream, right?
Yeah, Scream. Scream is stuck around. I mean, Halloween is. Yeah, those are really holdovers from the 90s.
Well, I'm saying it's not. It's
maybe like
anymore.
Saw.
Scream is like.
I mean, those aren't really slashers.
Jigsaw.
But,
Yeah. It's like they're, I don't know. Do you guys have any modern horror icons that you think you could drop in the comments? Let us know that aren't a remake. Like honestly, anything original after 2010.
Oh, 2010. That's
So no talking about Candyman.
Yeah, Candyman's a remake. Yeah, Scream
it's not
is
a remake. It's a.
Oh well, yeah. You're right.
Yeah. Have you guys seen the new Candyman film?
I've not, but I want to.
Seen it
You should watch it too. It's gonna leave theaters soon, actually.
I really want to actually watch that one. At first, I really didn't care. But
I want to see.
I like the original Candyman. So.
Yeah, I would say this is the closest. I mean, I'll say this: they do really lean hard into gentrification themes and stuff. Mm-hmm. And if you're not into obviously there's people who are triggered by certain themes. Yeah, I won't say the SJW, not the SJWs, the opposite SJWs. They really hated it, but
anything remotely political.
On YouTube that make 3-hour videos about things that bother them.
Yeah, pretty much.
There was a woman in that movie.
What's it called? But I mean, visually, that film's like fucking. Well,
I do want
we
to
have
see
a
it.
special.
I've heard Anthony was telling me it's a good director or something.
Yeah.
So I'll.
Yeah,
there's
Costa. Yeah, she's gonna direct the Marvels. Marvels.
Really?
Yeah, the one with Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, and Monica Rambeau.
They're gonna. I didn't even know they were gonna do that.
We talked about this before. I feel like
we talked about. I know that Monica Rambeau and Marvel's
Miss Marvel. Yeah, we talked about they're gonna have
I didn't know they're having like
a thing called the Marvels. Yeah, we were talking about the Phase 4. Yeah,
interesting. Oh well. Anyway.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I know. Just recent news. What's it called? What's it called? We just heard Blake's most anticipated movie of all time, the Willy Wonka prequel.
I did not say that.
I know. I was just joking. It's what's it called? But the new information. So we got a confirmation like Rowan Atkinson is gonna be in the film and stuff like that.
What?
Yeah. And then also, but this is a big news. Paul King is signed on to direct the film, and he's for actual cinephiles. He's the director of Paddington and Paddington 2, which are excellent films. Somehow, like films that are impossible to make good. He actually made it fantastic, and the second one even better than the first one.
I've never seen those movies.
Exactly, not cinephiles.
I just don't care.
Yeah, it's like I think that's very interesting.
And I loved the OG Willy Wonka movie as a kid. I fucking loved that shit. I just as an adult.
I think it's definitely.
Clifford
Wait, you don't like the
Dog?
Original one now as an adult?
No, I like it now.
You still like it now?
No,
okay.
I watched it last year actually.
I think that's like the cynical cinephiles in us that are just like it's a prequel to like a classic film. They're kind of just maybe milking it for the franchise. We don't know, honestly.
Your new chocolate factory, Wonka. My allegiance is to chocolate. To candy bars.
Honestly, the thing is,
wait. So is it gonna follow Wonka like going to South America and finding a bunch of like little slave people? And
I killed them.
The truth is,
not just the dentists, but the orthodontists and the teeth cleaners too. I hate them.
Yeah, honestly, that would be interesting to see. You know,
see Willy Wonka backflip and get his limbs cut off.
It would be great to see Timothy Chalamet pull out his Hayden Christensen impression. It'd probably be a best version of Hayden Christensen.
Charlie's like, "Don't try it, Willie. I have the high."
Grandpa Joe's
Grandpa Joe.
Grandpa Joe's the emperor.
No, Charlie
he's been pulling the strings this whole
Charlie
fucking time.
wouldn't even be born considering you gotta
Yeah.
get your lore right.
That's true.
But then I'll say this: I'm like based solely on the Paul King because that guy's hasn't made a single bad one yet, and Timothy Chalamet, who's
I'm sure it's looking like it's going to be a good movie. It's just
not something you watch.
It's
an
unnecessary movie. That's always been my criticism.
To be honest, there's like no such thing as unnecessary film.
I know there's not.
Yeah, I mean, as in like
there's been some unnecessary.
If we don't watch it, we'll die. There's not a.
Old was an unnecessary film.
No, I'm not saying. Wait, I say there's no such thing as a necessary film.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
You know what my fucking proposition is? You know what my fucking proposition is? Let's just stop making movies. They're terrible. All of them. I hate everything. Yeah. I want to die.
No, it's not.
I hate movies so much.
I mean, that's
the true level of cinephile where you just get to the point where you're like, burn it all.
Just get to
that's not true level. That's like the opposite. You know,
that's the anti-cinephile. I think there's a. Yeah.
Dune's gonna suck.
Like, I mean, I've known people who said that they don't watch movies that came out post 2000. They're literally just like, I don't watch any movie that came out the year after 2000 because they all suck. And I'm just like, what? Like, are you serious? Like, all of them? It's like, yeah, no, they all suck.
So
I will say Spiral from the Book of Saw.
There's a lot of like mainstream kind of cookie cutter films that have been pushed out since the year 2000 that don't really bring anything to the table. But if you look at the smaller studios, if you look at the foreign films, those have really evolved. And the level of technology that we have now allows people who have these great ideas, but can't really, take them and get a big budget for them to just make
the Green Knight.
How dare you diss Prince of Persia, Sands of Time like that? Jake Gyllenhaal gave a performance of a lifetime.
But here's the thing, though.
I don't know
that has always existed in movies. There have always been cookie cutter. Movies. Yeah, there have always been movies that are just banking on franchises. That's been a thing since fucking Jaws. Really.
Hell, like James Bond was literally just cookie cutter pumping out one year.
I would say maybe before 1977, which is when Star Wars came out. You can make the argument that, yes, like less franchise building, more original properties. You have a lot of Gene Wilder shit, some like all that stuff. The golden age of Hollywood, that's why a lot of people say 50s to 60s. And you have Casablanca. Like, I'm not even going to ask. It's going to break my heart.
I've seen Casablanca. I love it.
Oh, thank God. Thank God. We went to Paris. Yeah.
We'll always have Paris, yeah.
Oh, God. But one day we'll talk about that, I think.
Quite frankly, I don't give a damn. Wait, no.
That's fucking Gone with the Wind. That's Gone with the Wind. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm getting tricked. Oh, okay.
Rosebud.
I know you're just trolling there because I know it's
dude. That's my favorite line from 12 Angry Men.
And you still haven't seen Mank. I was like trying to push you to watch that. That's a David Fincher film too.
Anyway,
yeah.
Like no, I think people forget it's the same thing.
This podcast is just me roasting everybody's like lack of filmology.
Oh my god. See, I think that it's the same with like the music industry. People are like, "There's no good music nowadays."
It's actually exactly.
And it's like, dude, there's always been shitty content. There's always been amazing content. Yeah, it's like most of the really shitty, like stuff that no one cares or really remembers or matters. Ultimately, it all kind of fades away. It's survivor bias. Like it's just whatever is good is going to stick around and people are going to remember.
I think the biggest problem is really the really shitty Marvel movie cookie cutter bullshit just gets shoved in your face, Well,
I mean, the thing is, it's just let's see, a lot of film goers and a lot of people
are dumb.
No, not even just that. They're lazy. You know what I mean? They don't actually like it. Takes like a simple Google search. Mm-hmm. What's it called?
Well, I get that. Like the average. Another thing that I see all the time is like I go in and I usually get to the movie theaters like before the start time because yes, that's when all the trailers and stuff start for upcoming movies. And so many people I see walk in like the last 2 minutes of those trailers for the upcoming movies. And I'm like, okay, well, if you want to know what good films are, literally just watch the trailers. Like it tells you all the cool movies that are coming out and you can judge for yourself. Oh, is this going to be good? Is this going to be bad?
I disagree with, okay, well, personally, I actually try to go like right when the movie starts. I mean, I sometimes there early. But I just don't like seeing trailers. Except if it's like...
I love watching trailers in the theater, but I'm actually generally a person that likes to avoid trailers. I like to go into movies like as blind as possible.
Yeah, I think it depends. Yeah, really. I think, honestly, it comes down to like rising ticket prices in the U.S. Like, as tickets become more expensive, people don't want to waste their money on a film.
But then there's stuff like AMC A-List and there's Edwards and stuff.
There is. There's resources to know which movies you probably should or shouldn't go watch. But I think most people are just, as casual film goers, they're just like, they see a bunch of titles. I recognize that one and that one. I'm gonna go watch that, or like, oh, I kind of saw this one. This looks cool. Like for a movie that they have no clue what it's about or who directed it or wrote it, whatever. They don't know, and honestly, they probably don't care. They're less likely going to take that risk,
Well, no, yeah, of course. It's like it has to be like a Marvel film. It has to be from a major studio and has to have stars.
Yeah, the star. They're like, oh, I like
this was like
Tom Hardy.
This is very different, like in the 50s to all the way to maybe 80s, close to early 90s, where people actually read reviews.
You have to realize, New York Times and stuff. We're in a very, being like such active moviegoers, we're already in kind of a niche, right? Most people don't know who directed a movie. Most people don't even really care. Like you just said.
Most people now. In the past, yes.
Yeah, no,
like,
now.
People suck now.
Most people just kind of like see a trailer or see a poster and they go, yes, I want to watch this. Yes, I don't want to watch this. Honestly, we're being like big cynical assholes. It's fine. Most people don't take the medium as serious as us, but that's okay. Not everybody has to be super into film, right?
Yeah, that's why.
But then I also feel bad. I feel bad for a lot of these casual moviegoers who, like, when Pig came out, I was talking about Pig. I had seen the trailer for it. I was like, okay, this looks really interesting. It's going to be a weird artsy movie. It's going to be cool. I go and I see it. And literally nobody I know is talking about it. Everybody's like, what's Pig? They don't get it. And then after it's out of theaters, literally like 2 days after it's out of theaters, I've got all these people like, oh yeah, I heard about Pig. I heard it's really good. And I'm like, well, you're going to have to wait till it's out on DVD.
Well, and that's why I do love like sites like Rotten Tomatoes, where they make it very accessible. Like one of the biggest things about like in the past where people would be, is that they would just subscribe to, like, that's what Roger Ebert sometimes thumbs up, thumbs down would literally destroy a movie's box office performance.
Yeah.
But then with something like Rotten Tomatoes, there's an aggregate score. Like I said, don't blame Rotten Tomatoes against a bad score. They're just like a calculator. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, blame the critics, or honestly, just watch the film. You know what I mean? But that makes it very accessible for people. And that's why critical reviews actually are important, because like in box office analytics, their box office swings 20% based off of good reviews or bad reviews. Yeah. Or if it has legs. Like Shang-Chi had like 90 something, 95, 93.
How the fuck did it get that?
Rotten Tomato score with average rating 7.5, right? And the audience score was like 98%. So what's it called? Regardless of your feelings of the film, that did help the film, and that made the film outgross Black Widow, which had a lower rating and stuff like that. Because that does help, like, for people just don't want to spend money and stuff like that. And they do have that critic consensus thing. So there are tools. I mean, and there are different people, and that's like the only way. Honestly, indie films kind of live or die by the Rotten Tomato score and stuff like that. So which is like unfortunate, but also like at the same time, it's like the only thing you can do.
My suggestion to you guys is get AMC Stubs A-list. Everybody who's listening, just get it, do it. I mean, you'll go see at least one movie a month, and if you see one movie a month, it pays back itself. And then you get to also go see all these independent films. You can take your Saturday if
IMAX
and Dolby for free.
Yeah, and that's awesome, honestly. Because before I got AMC, I had seen like 1 or 2 movies in IMAX ever, and then now I'm like, I get to watch IMAX like freaking all the time, and it's like, not a big deal.
No, like literally, we've got like 15 different AMCs around our area.
Dude, I recently
and I'll travel like miles to get to one with an IMAX if there's an IMAX showing of what I want to watch instead of just the regular.
Oh yeah,
one.
but like you don't have A-list, don't you? Right?
I do not.
Why? You watch movies all the time.
I don't know. I go to Harkins.
Dude,
but
last week I watched
format.
Last week I watched Ghost in the Shell at AMC and IMAX. It was so fucking awesome. Ghost in the Shell. It's an anime.
No. He doesn't know. You know what he thinks? Is he's like, oh, it's the one where Scarlett Johansson is like, saving the world, right? Yeah.
I know what Ghost in the Shell is. You motherfucker.
Yeah. Okay. What's it called? Okay.
All right. Let's get into our.
We're talking about Tenebrae and Malignant.
So main thing is this episode, the central theme is Giallo films. It's something that these fuckers know nothing about. And then
did you say Jello?
Yeah, it's like what's it called?
I thought he said Jabba films when he
talked
to me about this first. I thought we were watching like A New Hope or something.
I know exactly. It's like I was like, what are you guys like? Dude, I explained it 3 times in our meeting together. I was like, this is Giallo films. It has like black gloves, intricate kills. It's Italian horror film. And then Miles was like, what? And then so it has black gloves. It's like whodunit mystery. Like, but what the fuck is Giallo film? I'm like, I just said it's whodunit.
I point out, Malignant is, to me at least, Malignant is far more like a terrible B movie, like an American.
Giallo
B
films
movie
are
than
like
Giallo.
Italian versions of
I
Giallo
know,
films.
but
So
I
that's
don't know.
like
I wouldn't.
you didn't do your research, did you?
We'll get into
I know what a
Malignant.
Giallo film is. You didn't have to tell me. Ooh.
Really. When I talked to you on the phone,
Yes, I already knew what a Giallo
Okay,
film
okay.
is.
We'll get too big.
All right, so for our audience who may not be familiar with the
This is
concept
where
of
I'll
a
go
Giallo
in.
film,
Fucking research it, motherfuckers.
Yeah, exactly. Lazy fucks. I'm
Just kidding. We
You
love
are
you.
lazy fucks.
Yeah,
You
thank
don't
you
have
for
to know what a
listening.
Giallo film is. You
We'll
don't have to be
explain it to you
weirdos
right
like
now.
me and Philip.
Okay, so the theme of this episode is Giallo films. We weren't gonna make this. This was originally gonna be like Yakuza Apocalypse and Many Saints of Newark, which I watched and I ended up loving, but I had to cancel it because the film literally opens up with one of the major characters that die in The Sopranos, and we're eventually gonna talk about Sopranos, and I didn't want to spoil that experience with it. And that film, watching it like for the third time, it really does get enhanced, or actually your enjoyment of the film is almost entirely predicated on whether you've seen The Sopranos. So if you haven't, you're gonna be like, what the fuck. But okay, so we changed it to Giallo because Blake calls me up and says, I've seen Malignant, what the fuck, that was great, it's hilarious. And we had a whole like conversation. Was that while you were at work or something?
While I was at work.
Yeah, it was at work. And then and I was like, it was like, luckily he called me during my break, and he was on my break. It was like,
Well, I was on my lunch break. I figured you would be too.
Yeah. Oh, my lunch breaks are really, I don't really have lunch breaks, but it's like, but
big boy.
yeah, and then
we're so important.
What's it called? And then we talked about it, and then we're like, okay, let's make an episode about it, right? Because I feel like at least conversation wise, some crazy shit happens in that film.
Yeah,
and it's also
I've heard
like
a lot of buzz too. A lot of other people have talked to me about Malignant.
Yeah,
they want to watch it. I mean, James Wan is one of those few directors that actually I think does attract some audiences, which is pretty cool.
And
yeah,
I think that he actually
understands.
Okay, but I think that James Wan understands how to make horror that doesn't feel like it's just another horror film. He always seems to bring something unique or special.
Because you know why? Because he's talented. And
Yeah,
he actually knows how to use the camera.
He's a very talented
This is
filmmaker,
kind of on the topic of James Wan. I've always felt like he plays it kind of safe, so I was kind of glad with this movie that
he plays it safe. Have you seen The Conjuring?
No.
I would say The Conjuring. Okay,
have you seen the shots he used in The Conjuring, like tilted angles, canted angles?
I understand what Blake is trying to say though, because like The Conjuring, the whole franchise, it's not really reinventing horror at all.
Yeah.
Right, but it's going back to arcade.
It's going back to like a lot of old school like haunted house horror stuff, but done very well.
And I think it's good, by the way. I'm not saying that James Wan makes bad movies. I just think that he kind of plays it a little safe, and that's why I was happy with Malignant, where I was like, you could tell James Wan just had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah,
which is what attracts me.
That's
to
the
it
most. That's his most daring stuff. I see where you're coming from. What's it called? I mean, definitely he never plays it as daring as like an A24 horror film.
He's not an Ari Aster or like a Jordan Peele or even like Robert Eggers. You know what I mean?
And then
he's good at making traditional horror.
Yeah,
and doing it well.
I just
because
think
there's so many.
For somebody who's making mid-budget horror films from a major studio, that's like this is probably the most daring you'll get. Because like
I think he's good.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think he's good. I just think compared to his contemporaries,
that's a different category too.
Yeah,
you know, what I mean, indie horror and mainstream like what's it called, Hollywood system horror films. Because like, look, if you guys seen Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, or something like that, or any of the other Curse, La Llorona or Annabelle films and stuff like that, if you watch them, it's night and day difference between what they do. Oh yeah, right? Like because like one it's different to pay homage to the 70s era horror films, right? But it's it's surface value at most if you don't use any of the camera techniques, you don't use any of the like let's say some of the practical effects, some of the sets or something like that. And camera techniques is a big one. He's wild with the camera, like with the crane shots. That's big with 70s, especially what we'll talk about Tenebrae. Yeah. But like crane shot, long takes, canted angles, anamorphic format, just film sometimes. He does that.
Yeah. But I thought the set dressing was amazing too. Yeah. That he did on this film.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go back to Tenebrae. Let's go back to Giallo.
Okay. We're going Tenebrae first.
No. Let's gotta go. Okay. So, so basically, it's a Giallo. Like I thought it's an interesting way to highlight. Because I know you guys probably haven't seen Giallo films, and they said this would be probably your first foray into Giallo films. Yeah. Yeah. And then Malignant is not a Giallo film, but it's just a Giallo inspired. Yeah. You have other things like that. So let's get into what the genre is. Giallo is an Italian horror subgenre, right? There's actually 3 types of giallo films. You got like the whodunits and stuff like that. And the 2 big directors that come from this genre is Mario Bava and Dario Argento. Yes, that's it called. And it's the main thing that characterized a giallo film, which just means yellow in Italian. It's like it came from like these like kind of pulpy fiction novels from Italian stuff, like really let's say bad fiction or something like that. But it's like it's purposely heightened to a degree to just like appeal to the mass monsters, like the 99-cent penny ones. And they adapted this, and that's how it started the whole subgenre. But now it's kind of evolved with the 2 directors I mentioned. Have you guys seen Mario Bravo's stuff by any chance?
Oh yeah, dude.
Okay, never mind. I'm not gonna ask. Okay, I'll still go on. Okay. So, and they kind of evolved it where there's different characteristics, right? So one of the big characteristics that came from giallo films is they're like known for whodunit horror mystery films.
Yeah.
And they're usually with very intricate kills, and it's very schlocky. Purposely in a way.
Oh, what?
Yeah, it's like, and it's like what's it called. I mean, if you're not into like let's say but it's schlock done with very like artistic style, right? Like it's schlock done with skill. That's the difference between like Italian schlock and our schlock. It's
There's a lot of that in Tenebrae.
Yeah, it is purposely so though.
It's the difference between like early punk and like British new wave metal, where it's like fast and aggressive. One is technical and actually like has some skill behind it. The other one is just loud and
bad
and bad, but still enjoyable.
Yeah. It's like what's it called? So it's like and because like even though they see it is their schlock, but they still try to push the envelope. So yeah, there's like the whodunit mysteries, and it's always sexualized. Like horrors and stuff like that.
Which sexuality has always been a strong thing in horror.
Italian, especially in horror film and Italian cinema. Yeah. And then and the characteristics, big thing is gloves. That's like black gloves. That's one of the big things with a lot of these stuff. You don't see the face of the killer until like literally sometimes the last 5 minutes. In this film, it was like literally the last 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then and on top of that, your intricate shots, usually synthy scores and stuff like that. In what's it called? Either
lots of
color or star color child or purposeful, very very purposeful color palettes. In this case, we'll talk about how it's a little different from his other work because this is a lot of people consider his last great film. And then he's kind of made shit after that. What?
And to be honest, I enjoy this one. I don't know if I'd call it great.
Let's go. You guys have bad taste, but it's like okay, but we'll And then, and some of the great ones that, for Dario Argento was like The Bird with the Crystal Plumage. The Mario Bravo had one before that. It's like kind of eluding my mind right now. All right, Dario Argento, big ones for him is The Bird with the Crystal Plumage, and then the most famous giallo film that I didn't choose for this one specifically.
Wait, you did The Bird with Crystal Plumage?
Did you actually watch that?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Oh my God! See, Miles, he always comes with the save at the last second. Oh my gosh! Just give me a hug. Oh my God, always surprises me, Miles. I love that.
I watch a bunch of weird films.
Yeah. So what's it
randomly?
So it's like, but the big one is Deep Red. That's generally considered the best, like the pinnacle of the genre. But I didn't choose it for this one because it's It's like I never want to give somebody the best of the genre for the first, kind of build their way up. Mm-hmm. And also too, it's we're playing Malignant. This film was the film that inspired that film the most. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What's it called? Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, what's it called? When we get into Malignant and we talk about the similarities and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, and this film pretty much checks off all the boxes for giallo, like what's it called, schlocky blood effects, intricate crane shots.
Is there schlocky blood effects in this movie?
Oh yeah. Are you kidding me? Were you watching? Were you? Then again, Blake must have been watching this on his phone.
I was watching it on my Nintendo Game Boy SP.
Yeah, that's how. That's
where you're wrong. See, I went Game Boy Color, so I can get
exactly.
full experience.
No. Game Boy Advance SP. No, Game Boy. His Game Boy Advance SP would have been better.
I watched this on my PSP Go.
What's it called? I think I've heard rumors on like my what's it called? You're like on the retro game board that they're trying to, because they already did it for Game Boy Advance SP for Tenet, I'm serious, there is. You guys go look it out.
To be fair, that is how Nolan wants you to watch it.
Exactly. Yeah. And then like somebody's
that's definitely how David Lynch wants you to watch his movies.
And somebody's trying to compress going back to UMDs. Remember the UMDs for PSPs and shit? Yeah. What's it called?
I own Lords of Dogtown on PSP because it came with my PSP.
Dude, it was a big market for a while. God, I'm like, one day. So let's go. And this is like his late Giallo films, like Return to Giallo film after like Inferno. Let's go. That's the first one we're gonna talk about, Tenebrae. It's a franchise that I didn't really like as like when I was like starting off film school and shit. And I was like, ooh, like everything should be like Hereditary didn't come out then, but I'm just using that example, like The Witch or whatever, right? It's like, oh, but then like as time goes on and then you see kind of the influence and the different traits of how like these type of films have influenced later horror films, like Scream, the most example of like, you know, you don't really see so like it's a whodunit horror film, schlocky blood effects, the black. Well, they take it extreme. It's like black all the way, like not just the gloves or something. It's not gloves, but it's like, and then what's it called? And then you know that's kind of been prevalent and affecting a lot of our own horror films, especially the murder mystery ones. So and it's cool to see, and then in a weird way that somehow they took all the wrong lessons from these films and removed all the stuff that was cool about it. Yeah, and I'm kind of sad about it, and then kind of grateful that James Wan brings it back in a weird way.
Scream is like a different animal though, because that one's like super meta
it does
and stuff.
Take some from it though. Like I said, you're not the only one who knows Giallo.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
I
love Giallo,
but I'm aware of the genre.
So it's like I know it, I've seen it, but I've never seen a film.
But I do think that like I think the element they probably took the most from was like the whodunit kind of element.
The gloves, the knife, maybe.
Not even just that, but like the whodunit and like also kind of the, I don't know, the bloodiness was definitely copied.
And the camp factor and stuff, but yeah, and which like I said, I totally enjoy, and I've grown to love camp in a weird way, or schlock. And and it's kind of fun, especially if it's done.
Great camp films out there.
Yeah, especially if it's done purposefully. If it's like camp on accident, it's bad.
Which can also be very enjoyable, but that's like a whole other thing.
No, that's like if you're drunk.
When someone
pickleback juice.
Yeah, I'll always argue that it's like I love bad films, but I love them when they're
organically
done
bad.
Yeah, organic, like when they're actually trying to do something good and it comes out bad. You can tell when the filmmaker actually put some heart into a movie and tried to make it good, and then it just didn't work out like in any way. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, those are
Twisted Pair.
Those are great. Now,
Neil Breen, right?
Yeah. I hate when they're just like, we're just gonna make a shitty movie just to make a shitty movie, and it's like, fuck off. That's you're not. Ugh.
Daddy Green.
Yeah.
What's it called? Oh, like. Okay, never mind. I'm not gonna mention some of the films because like you mentioned some. You've been working on it, but yeah, those films trigger me. All right, so I don't want to say it because it's gonna get Ron in trouble. But as I say, those films trigger me quite a bit because just they don't give a fuck. It's like they're using their dick to operate the camera and just like it's just like what it's like, and they're using their like.
I thought you said you weren't gonna try to get me in trouble. What are you doing?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not mentioning names, right? It's like as much criticizing as I can. Yeah, so this film, let's call it. Okay, so brief background on this film. Argento, this is kind of the height of his prime. Suspiria, Bird with Crystal Plumage, Inferno was like a big hit. Italians loved him. He was like
Suspiria.
Yeah, he was fucking harassed for that film. Like either because they were like, oh, you have a negative influence on the young population nowadays, and because of your films, and attracts into violence with black gloves.
Well, that's any artist that dares tackle.
No, but
it feels a little meta in this one when they're talking about the actual book. Yeah,
that's the thing. And then this after Suspiria, that film particularly because I made his wave in the art house cinemas, and it really just the stratosphere. He got calls. He got harassed. He got stalked.
Yeah, and he became a killer. That's
he literally got like the call in this film and stuff.
Yeah,
he literally got a call like that saying like I'm gonna hurt you and your like family and loved ones for the stuff that you made and stuff like that.
Wild.
And then after that, nothing actually happened. But he was like, oh, what would we do if like he turned this into a film? And at this point, he was gonna be finished with Giallo films, and who knows, maybe he'll try to make his Saving Private Ryan or whatever. but he went back, and I think this is one of his weirdest Giallo films. It's like he has supernatural shit, but yeah, in terms of Giallo stuff, is definitely the weirdest and most wild one, most synthy too, and it's
great soundtrack.
It's crazy, and
soundtrack's my favorite part of the whole movie.
Yeah, it's done by Claudio Simonetti, Fabio Pintelli, and Massimo Morante, who formed the group called Goblin, which is such a hilarious name that I love. Yeah. And then they make most of the soundtrack for his films. They also did the soundtrack for the George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
Really?
they did the soundtrack for George Romero's Dawn of the Dead. And then it's like, yeah, it slaps super hard. I was listening to it on the car ride. I was listening to it like all night, just like da 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 da. You know the Tenebrae song. And
no, I made sure to like Shazam that.
Yeah,
I was saving this for later.
I like all the horror music of this kind of era. The very synthy, like loud soundtrack that like is almost overpowering the entire movie. It kind of reminds me of Nightmare on Elm Street in that regard, where those soundtracks just fucking kick in over the entire movie.
I mean, we'll get into Nightmare on Elm Street another time, but like easily one of the best horror movie soundtracks ever. Yeah. And that was one of the mistakes in the second film. They don't use it, and it's like, oh my god, like I don't know. And we'll get into it another time.
It's yeah, and then it's what's it called? And then it has, I think what's called interesting cinematographer. Like he's same cinematographer from Suspiria, Luciano Tovoli. But
it's a very pretty movie.
Yeah, they actually take the opposite approach because Suspiria is a lot of blues and reds, and then like a little bit bigger sets, a lot more like what's it called, parallel lines and shit in the cinematography. And this one, he takes the opposite approach and he tries to make this a more modernistic or slight futuristic look to it at the time. So you got to put context of 1980s, where he purposely made it. It's set in Rome, but we don't see any of the landmarks. And it's like, and the houses are for a 1980s film a lot more modernistic.
Yeah, I was kind of convinced that they. I mean, I don't know if they shot it in Rome or not, but I was like, this doesn't.
They did.
Feel
they shot it in Rome. Yeah, they shot it in Rome. They purposely did that way to create a kind of unsettling feel or whatever. It's like in the near future type of thing.
Interesting.
And he was actually because he was trying to make a sci-fi film, but then he decided against it. And then purposely white walls, white backgrounds, and shit like that, and also to highlight the blood that gets comes everywhere. In and stuff. Yeah. So. It's like, and you even see with like the finale with like the painting, another painting, the art piece that kills our villain, right?
The last, not his death, but the last kill of the movie is so over the top and ridiculous that it's amazing. Yeah. Really quick note: this isn't my research. This is Sir Hassan Jason, who is unfortunately not here today. He was saying that one of the kills is like one of Quentin Tarantino's favorite kills in cinema history. I'm just gonna take a guess and say it was probably that one, the fucking arm getting chopped off and just spraying the entire contents.
Yeah, I mean, like you can see in Kill Bill.
Yeah, that's very reminiscent of shit that he would go on to do.
That's like he's a huge Dario Argento fan. And
Tarantino and you probably have a lot in common when it comes to how many movies you've watched.
It's a yeah. We'll have a you guys hear the story
you and
of
Quinty should hang out.
You guys heard the story of how real quick side tangent of how Sony got Once Upon a Time in Hollywood after the Weinstein breakup.
No,
it's that like he basically was like he had his terms out. And all the studios were basically trying to suck his cock. And like, what's it called? He said, okay, I want like a $90 to $100 million budget. I want to get paid like $20 million and choose any star that I want. And I want a $100 million marketing budget. And everybody was offering that. But then one step further, like Sony, apparently the CEO of Sony, and like, they were like, he's a huge film buff, especially the films that Tarantino likes. And then, but the rumor is that he just like watched all the films before the meeting, and then he seduced Tarantino with like the schlock films in Argento and like what's it called, or like the weird Chuck Norris films and shit. And
Nice.
then that's how he got it.
I want to see Tarantino's film collection really badly.
There'll be a lot of
VHS
it's a
full
steps.
museum.
Yeah,
It's
probably a lot of reels is what my guess would be.
Yeah.
A lot of the collections. Have you ever been to New Beverly?
I have not.
Really? For a Tarantino fan, you never been to New Beverly? This is where we put it like on blast.
We should do it, yeah.
Yeah.
I love the like.
Remember when I wasn't invited to go see the fucking Hateful Eight?
I've mentioned it. I put it in the stratosphere. What's it called?
Did you ever hear like when Tarantino finally watched Mad Max Fury Road?
Yeah,
they gave him like an actual film reel to watch it and stuff, and he like rewatched it tons of times, and he did not want to give it back because he just loved it so much.
Yeah, that's like one of his favorite. That was his favorite film last year, right?
Yeah, it was because it's amazing.
His favorite movie
amazing.
last year was Crawl.
Yeah, well, I mean,
is that last year or last
That's
That was
2019.
last year.
Yeah, 2019 or something.
All right, so yeah, you go back to Tenebrae here.
All
A
right,
lot
so
of tangents this episode.
what's it called? Yeah, so it's so this film, immediately, I think what's it called? We start off with her name was Elsa, right? Elsa Manny, played by Anya Peroni, who she's actually no, it doesn't start off with that. It starts off with them burning the book, right?
Yeah,
and then
reading the quote
like,
and stuff. Yeah, and then he burns it
and stuff like that. And it's an interesting way to open the book and just like kind of slowly as the crawl goes on. It's kind of I don't know if it sets the tone, but it does set an eerie tone to it, right?
Yeah. I mean, the opening quote, I wish we'd remembered it, but yeah, it does help set the tone.
Like the annihilation is murder and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then they circle back to it at the very end, which was cool.
And then what's it called? And then it just burns, and then we get our first victim, which was played by which is Elsa, who actually steals the book, and then eventually seduces the manager, like, oh, like fuck you, or like, yeah, here's my address, and like if you let me go, and then when she goes to her house, and she gets killed by the whodunit killer in this one with the black gloves. Yeah, and this one, another thing with Giallo films that they usually have a gimmick weapon. In the first, we get 2 Giallo kills actually in this one, and the first one is he uses a razor blade with a black glove. Yeah, and then that was like that was a good introduction because like I think like somebody did the calculations, like every 10 to 15 minutes there's a murder that happens in the film.
Yeah, it's fantastic acting with the kills throughout, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, it's definitely of the times.
It's definitely of the time, but it's
screaming
super schlocky with
I personally like.
My
really
favorite
like
one
that
is at
stuff.
the very end when he impales himself.
As he's like trying to pull it out
over and over and over again.
Ironically, that's the thing, because Asia Argento, like his daughter and stuff. That's what got her into acting. That final shot, she's like, "Oh no, it's not his screaming, but it's what's it called, Anne screaming, Anne screaming." Yeah, and then she's like, "That just like it just spoke to me." I was like, "Okay, that's a weird thing."
Imagine John Krasinski in that scene. Can you do the scream?
Oh my god, it would be like this.
Can we just stop talking about?
It's in my stomach, Emily.
He would have played both killers in this movie.
Jeez. Oh yeah, and he would have played both killers and the detective. And, what's it called?
Do we always have to talk about John Krasinski every single time?
Oh, he would do this like shots and like on the toilet for some reason. You know what I mean? Okay, so what's it called?
Officially putting in a petition to cut that.
Yes, same.
What's it called? No, but what's it called? And then you had like the classic Next Slice, and then that kind of badass poster, by the way, for this film. Tenebrae. Yeah, and you had that imagery, and then what's it called? Very striking in a way. The reds really pop out because of like the whites, and they purposely wear usually like light tones and stuff like that for their clothes. And it got me like hooked initially when I first watched it a long time ago. And then we get introduced to our novelist Peter Neal, who we later find out has like kind of a weird history with sexuality and stuff. Yeah.
I mean, don't all Italians?
Yeah.
There goes all our Italian viewers.
Yeah.
Or listeners.
What's it called? And then, he comes in from the U.S. with into Rome, and has all these people. He's talking about his new book Tenebrae, and that was the thing with like that connected him to the crimes because pages of Tenebrae was shoved into the mouth of Elsa. And what's it called? What do you guys think about this? How would you guys feel like it's very violating in the sense that besides even the Next Slice, it's just like. It's like like from like the oral aspect of it, it's like sexualized with like oral sex.
POV shot too.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I was like
a lot of penetration, but purposely so.
Yeah,
right? Like penetration of either like the razor blade or penetration of the mouth with the pages in a weird way.
Yeah, it gets a little. I mean, this like whole movie is pretty ridiculous. In terms of the premise and everything. I don't know. For me, it's like the story just is kind of. It's insane. But like at least in a fun way, honestly. But no, I think it's I think it was pretty cool, like just interesting because like he just has the blade like kind of just in her throat and he's just like stuffing it in there and stuff. Cool. I was like under the impression, I was like, wait, was this one of the first movies that did like that kind of POV killer shot, especially like later when he's like chasing them down and stuff? And I'm like, no.
The Halloween did that too, right?
Yeah, Halloween did it. I think even like there's been a bunch of stuff. I mean, even back to Psycho was like really kind of that first real
not
POV
as like
stuff.
shaky or as frantic as this.
No, this one. I mean, later like Evil Dead kind of turns it up to 11 when they're like that monster cam and stuff.
The smoke
Samuel
and stuff.
Raimi was jerking off behind the scenes.
Even other like schlocky early horror like Wolfen, which is like a B horror like wolf movie and stuff. It does like the wolf's perspective, like the werewolf stuff. But yeah, anyway, no, I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. Kind of does really hook you in though right away, which is fun.
And then after that, what's it called? We get introduced to our detective Germani. What do you guys think of him?
He's fine. I think he's mostly just functional. He's kind of like just the detective insert character, in my opinion.
Yeah, I thought
he's there to investigate and then explain everything at the end.
Serviceable,
but also given the content, that's kind of what it's going for. Like you said, it's going for very pulpy kind of writing.
Yeah,
there's always a detective that's there to explain the thing at the end.
Yeah, I like that he had a female partner. Like
that looked very similar to Anne on purpose.
Okay,
that was on purpose though.
Yeah, a lot of the victims looked like copies of each other. To be honest, I feel like they all almost had the same hairstyle, and they also it just felt like they were just kind of carbon copies of each other. And to the point where I got a little confused at a certain point. I was like, wait, who is this again? But no, I think the plot itself, I felt it lost me a few times where I was like, wait, what just
this is why a rewatch is necessary.
No, absolutely. No, I know. But it just there was a little confusion here and there. But yeah, no, it's just good. I think he's serviceable. You said just kind of perfect for the film for what it is.
What do you think about the pulpy detective stuff or like the murder mystery aspect of this film? Like, this is technically your second Giallo film, which is why I was surprised that.
Can we cut this section, Jason? Because I didn't manage to get to see this film.
Oh no, it's okay. It's okay. We're gonna. This is why you were silent.
Okay. We'll just cut out the part.
No. Let's keep it in. Let's just move on.
Don't throw me under the bus.
It's fine. Miles is our sound engineer, so he's actually not required to watch this.
He stepped in for this one. So this Jason.
You should just spend the rest of this podcast asking him intricate questions about the movie.
Okay. So,
what was your opinion? What was he trying to say, Miles?
Let's go. And then we go after that, and then I think and immediately they're just trying to get a call from the killer. What's it called? We don't find yet who it is, but I think and then he's doing this whole thing. He has kind of like, it says man, but then like he has a very feminine voice or high pitched voice.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be just a woman, but
yeah, I low key thought when I first watched it, I thought it was gonna be, I think it's Marion the lesbian, right? Or is it Mary? Is it either Marion or Maria? I thought it was gonna be or I think they're both lesbians, the lesbian couple.
Yeah,
I thought like it was gonna be the one that grilled him in the beginning about like the sexism of the Tenebrae.
Why do you hate women?
Which is very meta of him, because that's pretty much him. He's Peter Neal to Argento, and then his feminist critics are lesbian. So it says a lot where he has a killer killing them like in violent ways.
I'll show you hating women. Here's all their boobies and
it's like M. Night Shyamalan and Lady in the Water kind of thing.
Yeah. It's like it's
I'm the chosen writer.
It's done a million times better.
Yeah. What's it called? It's what's it called? And then, so in a weird way, it's very meta, and it's a weird commentary on himself, his filmography, his critics,
genre movies in general, maybe.
Yeah, pretty much. Because this is one of the later ones. Because after this one, it's kind of disappeared. You know what I mean?
Until now.
I think once 80s horror, like real slasher stuff, really started coming out. Like after, you could argue that Halloween was like that first real big slasher.
Well, that was 1979, right, or something, or 1970s. Yeah.
And then after that, like I think right around here is when Friday the 13th came out.
Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984.
Yeah,
and on Elmo Street.
And that's when slashers really started running off. Yeah.
And then they all very heavily from the Italian horror films, and I'm kind of glad. Like I appreciate that in a way, and I'm kind of glad. There was one in 2018. Cinefix did an interview with the filmmakers. It was like a spaghetti western mixed with a giallo film. So you have the villains. All the villains were wearing black gloves, and they're stabbing each other, and there's POV shots. And
I was gonna say something that kind of reminded me of Italian spaghetti westerns, is that they're both like 80-yard. For some reason.
Purposely.
Kind of like the Sergio Leone movies that are kind of like that.
Yeah.
Which always kind of bothers me. It sucks.
I get that. Yeah.
Especially with like the Sergio Leone movies where they're so good, but it kind of takes me out of it a little bit just because of the like the fact that they're 80-yard. Kind of the same thing in this movie. Although this movie was actually like really.
But because
pretty well 80-yard.
Because it's like it's the whole situation is weird. Honestly, the weird thing is I actually prefer hearing the Italian dub because it just fits the tone better, even though it doesn't match the lips. But yeah, because I think Jason mentioned this before on our Discord chat, where some of the actors are actually American, and they spoke English to raise the profile, and then they redubbed it.
Yeah,
in English. But then I think he did that on purpose.
It looks, honestly, it's a pretty good ADR though. I would say.
It's like one of the best.
It's actually better than a lot of the Sergio Leone ones, where it's like that's not what the fuck they're saying right now.
I kind of forgive the Sergio Leone stuff, even though it is distracting, because it kind of adds to that weird charm of that type of cinema, that schlockness of it, that imperfect nature. Yeah. But I don't forgive it now. Like, there's no reason you should
don't do it now.
Yeah, and I also understand that like sound was hard to record back in the 60s and stuff like that with the footage.
I just wanted to bring it up. I'm not saying it's like a make or break kind of thing. I just wanted to. Thought it was worth noting.
I do agree. And then this one's like, it's an ADR, except you see like some of them have American accents, but then some of the females keep their original Italian accent.
Yeah, that's why
the original actress is actually just like dubbing over their stuff.
Yeah.
What's it called? It's it's this whole thing. But I do like it though, because it fits with Italian cinema, because it's all dubbed, and a lot
of the Italian cinema was like that.
Yeah,
well, that's why I brought up the whole Sergio Leone thing.
Yeah, and I agree. It's like, in the weird way, the ADR actually, I wouldn't say this for any other film, but kind of adds to it. Like, because the schlockness of it, right? The B-horror nature of it.
Really quick side tangent, we'll get back to it. Did you know that in Kill Bill, originally he wanted what's his name? The master who teaches Beatrice.
You're talking about the one played by you mean Sonny Chiba? Are you talking about not the one that made the one that made the story, or Pai Mei?
Yes,
Pai Mei. Okay. Also played by Sonny Chiba.
He was supposed to be dubbed originally, but the studio was like, no. Apparently that was the thing though. Tarantino originally wanted there to be a quote unquote bad dub over him. Like,
actually, that would have been great.
I would have liked that.
That would have totally worked.
That would have worked. Oh fuck!
For that film,
nice, actually. What's it called?
What is her name? The Bride. I always call her the Bride.
Beatrice Kiddo.
Beatrice, thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody just calls her the Bride.
By the way, R.I.P. Sonny Chiba, legend, original Street Fighter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What's it called? Unfortunately passed through COVID and stuff.
Anyways, side tangent over. Sorry about that.
That's it. Yeah. What's it called? Yeah. So after this, we get pretty quickly into the next kill, which is actually I think it's like at least had one of my favorite shots in the film, where he kills the lesbians.
Are you talking about when her head breaks through the thing? Yeah, it's
yeah. It was a good shot, but like I hated how slowly she puts her head back through like the candy glass. She's just like, just kind of like rests it, and then it just shatters, and then it kind of falls back. I'm like, I would have liked it way better if she kind of just snapped her head back through it, and then had that same like slow pull out shot of her bleeding out down the. Yeah, I'm in talks with
the schlock and the schlock, you know what I mean?
I'm in talk with Dario Argento. Gonna recut that scene,
I was okay with that, because I get because it's just like
it's stylized.
Yeah, it's just stylized in a weird way.
This is a heavily stylized movie, which is one of the things I really like about it. This movie's pretty. It's a really pretty movie.
Yeah, as long as it's like and a film that's trying to be realistic, I would right on your page where I would
this
give
movie
it so
is
much
not trying to be
but it's not trying to be realistic at all, for sure. It's like even when we get into one of the later kills, the first axe kill, because like the way the angle that person suggests a much. Like, it just doesn't make sense, but it's whatever.
Yeah, I feel like those women, the two lesbian women, that like it was like in their contracts that one nipple had to be showing every time they're on screen, because it's like
it's erotic killing and stuff like that.
Yeah. I like how she's like, she hears a commotion downstairs. She thinks that there's a possibility of something bad being down there, and she just walks down there with her rope, like just refuses to fucking put a shirt on or anything. And she's just like, hello. She's going down there like, oh man.
And then she's like, I do like how she finds out it's like a reflection, like in the middle.
Yeah, that was a really cool shot.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah. Actually, no, even the way it started, it's like the intro, like even better. Even though I like Malignant in a weird way, but even better than Malignant was like how he shows off the what's it called, the entire architecture of the house, or like the layout, is that he has this crane shot that goes like from the floors, the different rooms. What's it called? And the stairs and stuff like that, which is great. That's like good filming. You want to understand layout,
establishing, especially with like horror film. It's like it can be so crucial to know the complete layout and where all the characters can go and where the killers can even come from.
Yeah. That was crazy. Yeah, the shot with like the slices and its head doesn't continuity wise make that much sense, but it's just for pretty sakes. It's kind of like
that's a lot of this movie though. It wants to look pretty,
and it's kind of like have you guys? But do you guys know Ozu, right? Like Tokyo Story. Like, have you guys heard of Ozu?
No, I don't think I have.
No.
Okay. Oh my god. Oh,
what is it? Just what is it?
Okay, so Ozu, it's a shame because we watched a video on Cinefix where they talked about like, like what's it called, purposely rule breaking films.
Mm-hmm.
What's it called? It's he has a kind of like this film where like he purposely breaks continuity just because he thinks it looks the best. Where like nobody's on the left to right frame, even though it purposely breaks the 180 rule, and he just puts people in the center frame for no reason. Right, but okay. Just it looks pretty and it has a certain purpose to it, and kind of like how I saw that shot with being cut like that, and his head is popping through like the cut white because she was purposely also like she was wearing a little more colorful clothes and she was wearing white on purpose. What's it called? And I do like that. It's like good attention to detail, good technical shit. And then and then it kind of leads to the whole theme of aberrant sexuality, which immediately afterwards we get a conversation with Christopher Birdie, who is, we find out, the actual killer.
Yeah.
And we don't find that till way later on because, like, we think it's a fake out, but the fake out is actually a fake out.
There's like a twist to the twist in this movie.
Yeah, and I love that. I love how ridiculous it gets.
Well, I like that too because I think the first time I saw him, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, never mind. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, it's like right after, what's it called? Because at the time, 1980s, like, even to like 2008, where like Brokeback Mountain couldn't win because that gay cowboys. Where like homosexuality on film was just like a big no-no, it was a taboo thing, and then immediately afterwards talks about aberrant sexuality, and that's a constant theme throughout the film.
Yeah, I like how he's like, what is he saying? He's like, oh, you're talking about like these deviant people, right? And why what they're doing is wrong and stuff. And he's like, whoa, that's not what I'm saying. There's nothing wrong with that.
With
like,
being gay or
there's nothing wrong with it. Yeah, which is like, it's pretty ballsy for 1981.
Yeah, and then like, but then like it does talk about like in a weird way, like. I don't know if it's a commentary on him saying that like because I saw these weird interviews where it's like the Giallo killers are like basically representative of society, and then like the people that are being killed are like the aberrant sexualities, or like you see like the first one who very open about her sexuality, it's like straight up like willing to give sex for favors, almost like not quite like a sex worker, but almost you see representative of a sex worker, but she gets killed, right? So like and then you have the lesbians that's homosexuality is bad, they get killed. The only one that doesn't kind of fit that is Maria. What's it called? It's Maria. Never mind. So it is Marion. That's the one that's the lesbian. Maria, who's the one that lives with them, and he goes into the house of Christopher Birdie. She gets killed with the axe.
Oh, the what is it? He calls her jailbait.
I guess there's that.
Yeah,
part.
yeah. Which, by the way, what the. That whole scene I thought was like it really strained me a bit, where it's just like she walks by the dog. And then she starts getting chased by the dog, and then she like runs. She just happens to run to the killer's home.
It's a little ridiculous.
Yeah, that part I do agree with that.
I was like, okay, come on.
That sequence with the dog goes on for so fucking long.
Yeah, and then like he's just like,
this is the most vicious dog of all time.
Yeah, the dog, like I was surprised, and it was like the dog actually just climbed over the fence.
Yeah.
And it's not obviously not CGI or anything. It's like impressive dogs.
Once you see a dog like almost jump over a fence, get the hell out of there, man. That's a Doberman. It's really athletic. It's gonna get over that fence, man. You can book it.
I know.
But yeah, and then
she's also pathetically running too.
Yeah, which is it's a staple for like schlocky horror. But like she's just like half-heartedly running away as this like killer dog is chasing her down, and then eventually when the actual killer chases her and she's like and she does the the always necessary trip for no reason thing where she just trips on the lawn on nothing and then just keeps
just like, and it's a hardcore like axe swing too.
Yeah,
the blood,
bam.
What's it called? Yeah, so I mean we just go into that. The next, pretty much the dog sequence and shit.
Yeah,
and then like, so I mean, what do you guys? Yeah, you made your feelings known about it. So you didn't like the sequence at all?
I know. It's not that I didn't like it, but it was just like it was enjoyable, just because it was goofy. I was like kind of laughing a bit at just like her kind of half-heartedly running away.
It was ridiculous, but it might be my favorite part of the whole movie.
Honestly, I enjoyed it because it's so ridiculous, so wild over the top.
Like when she sees all the photographs, like in all of like, oh my gosh,
she doesn't freak the fuck out.
She does. She kind of does, but she immediately proceeds to just touch everything.
Yeah, and then she like puts it in her pocket, right?
Yeah, she starts like she's just grabbing everything. Just like picking up photos, picks with the scissors. And then she starts like stuffing them in her pocket. And then I just thought it was so funny is then when she's running away from the killer, she starts throwing the crumpled pieces of paper at her. That's where I was laughing. I couldn't help it.
I laughed too, not gonna lie, but it was ridiculous in the certain point. What do you think he was trying to do with that sequence? Specifically with the dog, specifically with what's it called, like, you know, that, and she's not as sexually aberrant as any of the other characters. Like you said, it's a jailbait thing.
Yeah, I mean, they made sure to get some upskirt shots of her, but that was pretty much it.
So what do you guys think? What he was trying to do with that?
Fuck, I don't know, dude.
Yeah, I honestly
dig deep into, you know, film analysis.
Men are dogs. I don't know. Is that what he's going for? Is that what you want to say, Dario?
Men are dogs. We're being chased. Women are being chased by dog society. Men.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know. Honestly,
I mean, weird guys on Instagram like barking on women they find attractive as profiles.
Is that true?
Wait, what?
You don't know about the bark mommy thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
I talked about it a couple weeks ago when we were talking about anime. Because I said a lot of guys with anime profiles seem to show up in the comment section on Instagram and go, bark, mommy.
Wow.
Man,
totally normal behavior, if you ask me.
You seem to know a lot about these really strange communities on the internet, Blake. Is there something we should know?
I like deep diving on the internet. I'm a little bit of a... you could say I'm a little bit of an investigator.
If you ever see Blake in person, he looks like the embodiment of the dark web.
Fuck! Is it my beautiful, luscious hair?
No, it's the earrings with the
shaping.
It's the beautiful earrings or the beautiful, luscious hair.
Oh, it's got whole body clothes. I'm just kidding. I like your clothes. I like your clothes. I'm just joking.
So what are you saying? What do you think they?
I do think Blake was actually kind of like on some point with the males and the dogs and stuff like that. But like, I'm really just joking about the clothes. I'm joking. I don't know.
Every morning I wake up, I put up an outfit. I'm like, I wonder what Philip would think. I just wonder what Philip would think of this.
It warms my heart that you think. But yeah, I do think that like maybe it is something regarding
like
that, and or like it's chasing.
Nature.
Yeah, I can see that.
And then like even like the innocent ones would get killed regardless, unless they do the jailbait thing, right? Because because literally most of them had some sexual crime or aberrant sexuality to them.
She's the most
innocent one. Yeah,
you asked me, Dario's a sex fiend or something.
Yeah, he is. And then even this one, this is the only one the killer apologized, saying like, you're not really part of the plan, you're a spy, stuff like that. Unless it's like also commentating how like, maybe his hatred towards, the idea of the overbearing female partner or whatever, looking into the things and stuff like that. Because I mean, I forgot what his personal life was at the time, so maybe it's a commentary. He's like saying fuck you to a romantic partner with this. Because this all feels like his personal diary, by the way, onto like a Jalo film.
Yeah, this is a really weird self-criticism movie.
And then that happens and stuff, and she gets killed, but this time we get a new weapon. It's with the axe. So what do you guys think? Do you think this one was Christopher Birdie who killed him, or was it Peter Neal?
I think it was Christopher Birdie.
Yeah,
I think he just happened to walk into his house and he's like, well,
yeah,
and had the axe and stuff like that. I love how too like they hold on to the axe for a bit, like this is the new weapon, like kind of like the video games, like choose your weapon. Yeah, and then it was like, and I was like, yeah, it's an upgrade. I mean, it's a little more effective than a razor blade.
Yeah, a straight razor.
And then and then that happened, and then immediately we get into what's it called? Peter Neal doing detective work. He's doing more detective work than the actual detective. And he's like actually analyzing like his pages, like the locations of death or where it is, the pictures he gets, and then but then at first I thought like, oh, he's just being an asshole for not telling the detective why. What's it called, where the killings are happening or his findings, but we find out later it's actually purposeful. Yeah, we'll get into that in a bit.
Double twist.
At first, like when I watched it a long time ago, I was like, oh, this is bad.
What did M. Night Shyamalan direct this?
What a twist.
I also love how it makes sense to Germani is the one, like he has the thickest Italian accent. It's like what's it called? And then immediately they go to Christopher Birdie's house because he realizes that Christopher Birdie's probably the killer. But when we think that happens, like you see purposefully Peter Neal's like, okay, let me just check, we'll split up and we'll see what other things are happening, right? At first like, oh my god, it's a split up trope. But actually done relatively well in this one for a specific reason, narrative reason. And then you see Christopher Birdie, you don't really hear him as much, and you're kind of just from the POV of God, what was his name? The guy's name was, it's not Bulmer. No, Bulmer is the guy, his agent, right? Bulmer's the agent.
Yes.
Well, I suspected for a minute there.
It's Gianni. It's Gianni. It's the blonde dude. His name's Gianni. Yeah.
Yeah. Which, by the way, Bulmer, played by John Saxon, the father from Nightmare on Elm Street.
That was great. I was like, oh,
it's like, hey, that dude. I'll remember those eyebrows anywhere.
And then he's still being dubbed. What's it called? So like Gianni witnessed the murder of Christopher Birdie, and Christopher Birdie's all like freaked out. And you think it's a fake out, where it's like, oh, it's a red herring. And Christopher Birdie was a red herring the entire time, and he gets killed by the axe to the head, which is so satisfying.
Yeah.
That was such a satisfying kill when I watched it.
It's very brutal. You see it go in,
and I was like, oh yeah, I was like, yes, oh, and I was like, oh yeah, I want to see the axe go in, penetrate the head. Fuck yeah, motherfucker.
This is a look into watching a film with Philip. Yeah.
That's what happens when you watch HBO at the age of 2.
Yeah, I know. It's like watching, and then
your parents showed you like.
Dude, it was like, it's like I remember as a kid, I don't know, it was like I never. We'll talk. Just brief history into this. Like I won't go, but there was like it forever traumatized my brain where they try to get a Jewish guy to leave this hotel so they can grow the business. So they get the Jewish guys, like his hair, like, and they bang his head against the bell until and it just like indents into his head. And that was like when I was like, I don't know, when I was like 10 or 9. I know I was like 8 or something. You
witnessed this as a kid?
No, I'm talking about on the show Sopranos. On the show Sopranos.
Yeah, I was like, damn.
No, that's what I'm talking about Sopranos. That's why it's like, so like I was
like episode 3.
What's it called? Yeah. What's it called? And then I was like, you watch Sopranos now? You watching it?
Yes, I just started watching it. So.
Miles becoming it's like okay, maybe besides you.
I ran out of stuff to watch.
Yeah, you started fucking up not watching the film, but thank God. I watched Sopranos. What's it called?
Well, that was kind of Blake's fault that I didn't watch this film.
Why is it my fault?
Because I said I didn't want to like sign up for the streaming service, so let's watch it together over Discord.
7 days for free, motherfucker.
Yeah, but then they have my email address.
You remember that was wild.
No, it's a similar thing. That was like really quick side tangent as well. Like when I first watched Pan's Labyrinth as a kid. When that movie first came out, like I had no idea what it was about. Like I just saw like something and I was like, oh, this looks cool. And then
no, I'm not talking about that. I was like emotional. You're talking about this scene, right?
Oh no, I was talking about the bottle scene with the 2 hunters, where like he they capture the 2 hunters and the officer guy's like, oh, and just starts smashing the dude's face in with the bottle. I watched that pretty young and I was like, holy shit.
I know, because that was like quick. They didn't
there's just no build up to it. He just punches the dude, just starts pounding in his face, and I was like, wow, like Jesus, like which Guillermo is fantastic at doing those like kinds of.
When are we gonna cover Chronos
horror stuff? Well, we'll get to it, dude. Oh my god,
that's on my list of not Christmas movies.
We're gonna do a Guillermo del Toro episode, and it's gonna be amazing.
Eventually, I mean, like.
Eventually, yeah. Anyway, back to this.
So I was like, I watched the accent. I was like, super satisfying. Fuck yeah. I love this like shocky horror and the effects and everything. And I like how the blood is like super bright red. It's not like it's not like cane sugar or whatever, like and stuff that Alpha Charge. It's bright paint red.
Yeah.
And I like that because it just adds the colors and all that weird shit.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't shy away from that. And so that happens. And you think it's fake out. Gianni's like, oh my God, I'm traumatized. And he goes finds Peter Neal's like, Neal, what happened? And then Neal's like, oh, I just got hit in the head. And it's like, he was like, dude, if you got really hit in the head with the rock, it's like the most fake out thing in the world too.
Yeah.
At first I was like, suspicious, but I was like, okay, maybe he did get hit. Because I'm thinking like, how would he have like, done that and then got the head and stuff like that?
Yeah.
But then he doesn't, Argento doesn't care about continuity. He doesn't. He doesn't care about continuity on purpose, though. And then after that, what's it called? You get Germani coming in saying like, look, some shit happened. Well, like, can you really help us with the case? And then Peter Neal's like, oh, I'm peacing. I'm leaving, bitch. He's like, he goes to Bulmer, who is the assistant, or no, that's his agent, right?
Yeah.
And then he's like, okay, let's go. Don't tell anybody. And then and then Peter Neal has a night with Anne, which I always thought like. Pretty good chemistry, stuff like that. She's one of the few females that make it out because she doesn't commit any sexual crime or doesn't have any sexual deviancies, right? And so she's like and very intentionally survived, right? You know what I mean? And they have a night out, and then we find out something about Bulmer because we get sprinkled of Jane McCarroll, which they kind of make it seem like, oh, is she the killer? Is she the one that's killing everybody?
Which
she wasn't.
Yeah, I thought it was her.
Speaking of non-continuity, I was laughing so hard because when we find out that later Peter Neal was a killer, because Peter Neal's not the tallest guy in the world.
Yeah.
But when he killed Christopher Brady, it was from like a really high angle. And I was expecting like, is it? I at first I was like, oh, based on the height and stuff, it's like Detective Brain. It's like, oh, is it Detective Germani? He's like the tall.
He brings a step ladder, I think, everywhere he goes.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, what up? It's like, and then we find out that Bulmer and Jay McCarroll are having an affair together. Jay McCarroll is Peter Neal's ex-wife.
Yes.
Shock.
And then
shock Pikachu face.
Yeah, I know. Son of a bitch. I lost my thought. Okay, but and then you feel like, okay, so Jay McCarroll, and you're still thinking like, what's going? Is Bulmer the killer? At this point, they try to make it seem like maybe Bulmer might be the killer because he specifically has the lines like it'll be all over very soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they go to specifically a very kind of blank road. Right.
Well, they're like in a public area, right?
Which
like
made me think he wasn't going to get killed right there, by the way.
Yeah.
I was thinking, oh, that's where I'd be.
It doesn't. Again, speaking of continuity, it's like when he gets stabbed.
There's like no one around.
Yeah, it's like in broad daylight, and the lady's like walking towards him.
And she doesn't notice.
And she doesn't notice he gets stabbed until he's like on the floor bleeding out. And she's like, oh, you got stabbed.
Yeah. And I think it's like a purpose, like a weird time fake out thing. Because you would think. Like they try to make it seem like maybe the girl was gonna stab Bulmer, but it was actually somebody else.
Yeah.
But also like maybe at the time, and then also like it kind of tricks you thinking like, okay, maybe that kill actually happened quite a bit before she walked towards.
I didn't get that. But...
Yeah, I mean he does that a lot, like the weird time fake out things that he does, and then purposely like almost French New Wave style, but it's not. And Italians will hate me for saying this. They're like, well, French. They hate the French for like New Wave shit. But they're just like, oh, Italians, we do our own shit, but better. Yeah. I mean, with the sauce, you can feel the garlic. But I love garlic.
Anyway.
so like, there goes the last 3 Italian videos we had.
I love you guys. I love Serranos. I'm just kidding. But so like French New Wave style, where it's purposely your time wise is disoriented based on the cuts and everything, right?
Yeah.
The fake outs, and then at first I actually thought it was is it Jane that stabbed him or something? But then Jane's walking with the red shoes. By the way, with the red shoes, that's a recurring thing.
The movie,
yeah. And then and we find out no, it isn't. You know what I mean? And because she goes in, she walks, and she goes out, and I love that it follows the shoes and like what's it called? Like it's a dolly shot, right? Just like yeah, and then we get we didn't even talk about the flashbacks. There's 2 flashbacks, and
we don't know if they're flashbacks or not,
or just like another kill or something. And I like how it's a great way to do it
until the end.
Yeah, it's a great way. I think like very interesting way to do flashbacks. So we first see like a group of young boys with a girl. I think she's played by Eva Robbins. I think she's like at this time. Yeah, I think she's a transgender actress. The girl like who showed her boobs and stuff. Yeah, she's like a transgender actress. I think he did it on purpose to kind of create that once again the aberrant sexuality thing. And then she's showing her boobs, and I think the guy slaps her, who we find out later is Peter Neal.
Yeah,
it's like she has the red shoes, and she's like shoving it down his fucking
in his mouth, dude.
Yeah,
which, by the way, I was
erotic.
just like imagining as they're filming that, I was like, dude, that's so dangerous. Like that seems so sketchy. As she just like shoves her heel.
Exactly. It's like one little extra, like
that's pretty horrifying, honestly.
And then another flashback afterwards is like a POV, like you would think it's another one of the Jalo ones, and then the knife and just stabs it in the stomach like multiple times, and she dies.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get the whole history where like Peter Neal was suspected of murdering her, but didn't have enough evidence, so he just was let go.
And he spent his whole life kind of writing fucked up fiction as a way of confessing, maybe.
Yeah, confessing or
which
dealing
is kind
with
of
sexual
meta
deviancy.
Commentary on
Dario Argento.
This is such a weird.
Yeah,
this is like if you got drunk and everything you've ever felt bad about, and you started writing a screenplay, and I don't know. This movie's odd.
Yeah, that's why I feel like when you guys said you didn't want to talk about it, I was like, this is one of the most interesting meta narratives out there.
Yeah, it's like if OJ wrote a book called "If I Did It,"
I know.
Totally off topic. Did you see that headline? OJ says he doesn't like visiting LA because he might be sitting next to the person who did it.
Yes, I heard that.
That's hilarious.
Ridiculous. Oh he might accidentally, walk past a mirror or something.
I know. It's just like, oh gosh. The girl does not fit. You must have quit. Dude, that's that fucking line. Just like, I don't know why that just
moving on.
Yeah. But yeah, and then and then it ties back because you have.
Hey, you know what? He was wearing black gloves. Do you think he's
secretly a Jalo killer?
He watched this movie.
Might have made a terrible Jalo movie.
Yeah. So it's and then Jane, who calls Anne, to meet up and stuff like that before, like, whereas Peter, she has a gun and everything. And at first, because I was like, she's obviously scared of something. She's wearing the red shoes, and purposely, like, it's a purposeful thing because, like, the only two people that with red shoes are the women that, like, affected the most sexually, right?
Yeah.
Any sexual contact. So it's Jane, and that's why I thought at one point Anne was gonna wear red shoes, but I guess not. But it was Jane and the girl on the beach. And one of my favorite, we talked about it earlier with the Kill Bill.
This is one of the best kills of the whole.
Yes, it's fucking. I love
so ridiculous,
dude. I loved it though. That was definitely my favorite part of the movie.
And it was seamless, like the cut and then the blood.
Yeah,
and I was like going everywhere, spraying, and then afterwards he just like went hardcore with the fucking axe, just kept on hammering away at her.
Yeah,
and then we find out that the whole
hacking.
We had the whole time that I almost said Neil Breen. It's not Neil Breen. Peter Neal.
The man with two
not
first
gonna
names.
lie, it's like never mind, they don't look alike. But then Peter Neal Peter Neal is the killer, and he wasn't the original killer because
he's using the killer as a way to
get rid of
he's an opportunist.
Yeah, and Jane. And then we kind of get into this whole fake out thing, and that's one of the big things in Giallo films is vision impairment. Is that like in the Giallo films, there's always something where like it's characters have vision problems or they can't see shit, right? And that's a plot device so that they could get away with it. Yeah. Or you have what's it called? How in the beginning there was like the witness, the hobo witness, that like what's it called? That sees it, but then like
that seemed just out of nowhere, but
keep going and stuff like that. What's it called? And it's like, and then I think it's also his whole commentary with the thing, sexuality, and what's it called? But in this case, the vision impairment is. The killer was right in front of him the entire time, and he couldn't notice. And they even make a specific thing because they bring up
one of the killers. Yeah.
Yes, like they make up Arthur Conan Doyle with the Hounds of Baskerville quote. They bring up the Agatha Christie and novels where it's just like, when I read those novels, I can never know who the killer was. And then he says like, even your novels, I can't read it. But this time, I think like when he did figure it out a little later, where he says it's kind of foreshadowing. It's like after the Christopher Reddy shit, he said, "Oh, I finally figured out who the killer is this time. I read on page 30." Hinting that he might have figured it out. But yeah, that's an interesting thing in Giallo film. What do you guys think about that? Like, do you think it's tropey, or is like, what does he think? Why in Giallo films vision impairment is such a big part of it?
Well, I mean, I think it just adds to the murder mystery aspect of it, where it's like it's always more exciting when the killer is usually always someone that they know and someone that they're affiliated with and someone who's usually right there the whole time, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it definitely adds to that element.
What about you, Blake? What do you think? What do you think he's trying to say with the vision impairment with this time? Is he like is also Germani like kind of like the audience a surrogate in this one?
Well, I don't know. I mean, given that this is a huge meta commentary fuckfest, you could even say that it's just supposed to say that any one of these men could possibly have it in them to do this.
Right.
Yeah, that's my take.
I think with this one, like the vision impairment stuff, it's like. Yeah, I don't know if it's like, I think it might be like an insult to his audience at some point where just like, you can't understand who the killer is, you guys are blind to. And sometimes I even think it's like him like jerking himself out, like, you're blind to my genius, you're blind to my twists. It's like, you all visually impaired fucks. It's just like making this stuff. And then it's like a lot of cool shit. And yeah, so you have Germani who, confronts Neil. And then Neil like strikes the hammer of the first person. I think it's Germani. But it actually kills Altieri, the girl who looks like Anne, because she gets the first one who got the clue, and he's like, "Oh, sorry," because he thinks it's Anne. But then Anne actually comes by. He's like, "What? That's not me." He's like, "Anne, Germani?" He's like, "Oh shit." And then, what do you guys think of his knife through the throat thing?
Oh, the fake out.
Yeah.
It was, again, ridiculous, but this whole movie's ridiculous.
Yeah, it fits in. Because I remember when, it's first revealed it's a fake out, I was like, oh, okay.
At first I thought, of course, like I think most people, I thought he actually did it. Yeah. Just I just slit his own throat, and I was like, whoa, wild. But then, it's a fake.
And then what's it called? And then,
of course, the shot of him behind him.
Yeah, that was
a good shot.
Yeah, that was like probably my second favorite shot. Where it's like, it's Germani, and then you see like in the background, like something's quite off. Like there's an extra ear behind it. And you're like, what it is? And you see Germani go down, you see Peter Neal. One of the better ways to do that type of reveal when they're behind you the entire time. It's like super fucking creative.
Oh, definitely. When he was like standing right behind him, I was like, something's up with his ear, man.
Yeah.
I was like, why does his ear look weird? And it's like, oh, there's two ears.
And then he kills Germani. Poor Germani, like really one of the good guys. And then he's waiting for Anne. He's about to get kill Anne, but instead he gets killed by a modern art piece.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious, by the way.
Yeah, you got stabbed.
And then the most hilarious screaming of the whole movie. It just keeps going on and on.
And that's how it ends. The audio continues into the credits and shit. What's it called? Oh, what do you guys think of that whole ending and the sequence?
I mean, it's fun.
Yeah, it was. I actually really liked it a lot. I think that's where it kind of cashes in on the real campy horror stuff. Well, I mean, it's throughout the film, but right there, I loved it as he gets just impaled and he's like, ugh! And he's trying to pull it out, and there's the blood on his hands, and then
it's almost he's like he's the first time getting sexually violated.
Yeah, he's getting
penetrated. Right, and it's inside him. It's like it's cum. You know what I mean? It is like blood in a weird way is like cum in. It's like it's a weird sex film, like all Giallo films, right?
Yeah,
and it's
fair.
it's like the the POV shots are like foreplay, and then the axe is the actual sex penetration, like stabbing of the weapon, and the blood is the cum, like the release, like fuck yeah, oh yeah. What's it called?
Exactly.
But,
yes.
What's it called? That. Yeah, and then so it's I mean it's what's it called? Like I said, it's really cool, and then last thing to kind of wrap this off is one of the things he says that this film is like his dark double film. What do you think he means by that?
I figured. I mean, honestly, it feels like a meta commentary, right? Like a lot of this, like it's basically the dark double himself.
Yeah, everyone has like different two sides to it.
Yeah.
What's it called?
That'd be my take as well.
And even shots to kind of like relate that, like Marion, who's the first lesbian, the lesbian that died. She has like this life as a reporter, but she doubles like as a lesbian with the person, or even her lesbian partner who is like she has sex with men, but she's actually a lesbian behind closed doors. Yeah, type of thing. It's like their own dark double nature to it, and in a Giallo film too. It's like it's the dark doubles is like the actual killer and shit. All right, so what do you guys think of what's it called to wrap this all up? Because you guys all seem like you're dying talking about this shit.
No, not at all. This is a pretty fun movie to talk about. Yeah.
What's it called? What's it called? Okay, so just to kind of wrap this up, brief little history. This film came out censored like fuck because it's a Blockbuster era. Fuck Blockbuster, by the way. And this was a cut like hardcore to like almost no blood. And it was called Unsane instead of Tenebrae.
What a disservice. Seriously, that's awful.
It's like it's nothing about like instead of the arm cutting off, it just cuts away or something. It's so weird, and it's like it's a weird thing. Yeah, and then it's interesting title. Like I like the title because like Tenebrae either translates darkness or it's actually like a religious service in Western Christianity churches where it's like 3 days before Easter, and it's basically candles that get slowly extinguished until like you hear the loud sound in darkness. We're just like this film, pretty much. Yeah. Like just like that, just like Tenebrae, like the ceremony, you end with a fucking loud sound and darkness, like as you see the screams go on and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so all right, let's wrap this up. Miles, what was your overall thoughts and opinions on this film?
I thought that this was an amazing film. 10 out of 10. Dario Argento's a genius. And when I actually see this movie, I will revise my opinion.
Okay, what's it called?
Like I said, it's a weird meta commentary fuck fest that has fun kills. I would stream it with ads at a birthday party.
Stream it with ads?
At a birthday party.
Wait.
Party. On your phone?
Stream it with ads.
This is a movie, stream it. How about that? This is a movie I would show to someone if they wanted to watch a weird horror movie, but it's probably something I won't watch again. I do want to watch more of Dario Argento's filmography.
Which we will in a future episode.
We will. Yes. I know that he's the man. He's been on my watch list for a long time.
Yes.
But stream it at a birthday party.
Why a birthday party?
If someone has a horror themed birthday party, I'll bring it up.
Okay, I thought you meant like a kid's birthday party.
Yeah,
because
why not like a Halloween
party
or something?
What adult has a birthday party? And I don't think I would show this movie to kids.
I enjoyed it actually a lot. It was fun. It's just like a good watch. I think like something similar to Blake's. I think just kind of putting it on, just have a good time with like the guys and stuff. I'd probably put it like a premium streaming service. I'd say, yeah.
On Amazon, right? With what's the wrong dubbing and the wrong
Oh
subtitles.
yeah, of course, yeah.
Let's go. Okay. As for me, what's it called? This film. What's it called? One of my I think very underrated Giallo film. I really do like this genre quite a bit. It's not my favorite. It's hard. It's personally one that probably enjoy the most because how ridiculous it is. And the soundtrack fucking slaps. By the way, it's from
it does.
What's it called? From Claudio. I think I might have said it earlier. Claudio Simonetti, Fabio Pignatelli, Massimo Morante, who formed the band called Goblin, which is a kick-ass name.
I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
And then the Tenebrae, the da-na-na-na. I was like, fuck yes. I wish more into that. And then the next one we talk about kind of harkens back to that sound a little bit. I say On the Shelf for me. Yeah. It's a classic for on. This is, I don't know, I would recommend this for the first Giallo films. You guys should probably start with Bird with Crystal Plumage or Mario Brava films. Definitely do check out this genre if you guys like Scream or shit like that or slasher films.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's okay. And on to our next film, which is gonna be Malignant, the masterpiece from James Wan. So Malignant is a Giallo-inspired horror film by James Wan that came out recently on HBO Max and theaters and failed spectacularly at the box office. Not because it's bad, just because it's a really stupid strategy to do a day-and-day release.
Yeah.
So this film is about Madison.
What is this film about?
Yeah, this film is about Madison, who is in an abusive relationship with her husband. But one day, she gets her head hit on the wall, and afterwards, she starts to notice visions of murders that they're taking place, and usually of a man fully clothed in black and stabbing them with, I forgot what the tool is, like a medical spike or something like that.
It was like it was weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I know some certain medical symbol that Leia has it at we're watching it and it's it's literally in her shelf and I'm like,
this big golden spike thing.
Yeah.
It was pretty badass, honestly, as
It
far
was.
as her weapons go.
And then she tries to work with the authorities to try to stop the murders before they're happening and reporting it and trying to find who the killer is. But little does she know the killer is a lot closer to home than she realizes.
Oh snap!
All right, so if anyone who's listened to us before, we go into full spoilers here. So if you haven't watched it yet, watch it. It's a good time. And here we go.
Definitely pickleback juice with pickle brine and whiskey.
I don't understand the pickle brine.
You never had that before?
Pickle brine and whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
fantastic.
It's like for hangovers though, typically. Not
I like doing it.
You just
either
mix them
or.
together. And
I just
chuck them back like that.
No. So basically, you drink the whiskey first, and then pickle brine right after the chaser.
Oh.
Yeah, that's like
that's
usually a hangover thing. Actually,
that does make a lot of sense. Yeah, it gives you those the sodium and shit, and also you get that. Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. Well,
yeah.
More you know. Yeah. Pickle brine and whiskey. Enjoy your movie.
Mai Tais and Malignant. Enjoy your movie.
It's all Mai Tais. So tequilas, all that stuff, IPAs.
All right. So James Wan, fantastic director.
Yeah, it's directed by James Wan.
Who's an okay director?
What's it called? I mean, it's okay. Blake has bad taste.
He's got a bit of a bumpy career, I'll say.
Hey, I noticed you didn't write down Death Sentence on this.
Oh yeah, I only wrote his notable films.
I noticed you didn't write down Death Sentence on this.
Yeah, I remember that. Death Sentence, and then was it Dead Silence, right? The one with the
that's
he did Dead Silence.
That's got kind of a cult following though. Some people really like that movie.
One day to do James Wan has a just great. I'll give him this. Even with a very generic studio film, he always tries to add his own flair to it.
Yeah, he kind of swings for the fences. Aquaman can be pretty decisive. I know people that hate it. I actually kind of enjoyed it a lot. I fucking
love that film.
Yeah,
I don't think it's a great film. It's like
no, it's not
like a 6 out of 10, 5 out of 10 best. But I enjoy the fuck out of it.
I actually had a lot of fun watching it, and I feel like this movie, it's like it shows off his technical prowess, and everything. If this wasn't James Wan, it would not have worked.
I gave this spiel earlier, but I don't know if it was on the podcast or not, so I'll just say it again to be safe. I generally like James Wan. He makes really good typical studio horror.
Oh, we need to talk about it, yeah.
There's a lot of bad. Yeah. Most horror is terrible for reasons we will get into one day. We don't have the time today, sadly, but he definitely makes the most out of boring kind of horror premises. And I've always wanted to see him be a little less in a box, and I think this is definitely probably the most out of the box he's been in a while. Which is why
one of the things that I can really say about him is the cinematography and the shot composition that he uses is always excellent.
Yeah, it always is good. That's what I mean.
It's not like the standard shots that you see in most of these, movies that are these mainstream movies where they're like, okay, we're just gonna catch this scene. We're gonna have basically the easiest way to make this shot possible.
Yeah.
He actually goes above and beyond, and you see a lot of stuff with crane cameras and a lot of big, heavy pans.
What's it called? Eagle eye views.
Even in Aquaman, like some of the action sequences were done really well, like better than like I don't know, a lot of like standard superhero films, but like the main sequence where the queen is getting attacked in the house by all the Atlanteans and stuff. The camera's like whipping around through like this pretty intricate action scene. They're like getting thrown through here and there. It's like it's awesome. I think that's what elevates it beyond just like, you know, what it would have been.
He's a good filmmaker. I think that a lot of his stuff is kind of boring in studio, but then that's fine.
Aquaman. You don't think that's why I was like all balls to the wall? There's fucking laser sharks in that.
I just mean I'm talking in terms of like Insidious, Conjuring, like a lot of those movies. Like, I mean, they're good. They don't do a whole lot for me, and that's fine. I think he's a good director, though. Overall.
Anyways, let's continue our review of Aquaman.
So death sentence, Kevin Bacon.
So yeah, back to Malignant.
Yes, I mean he has a very old school way of actually making films. Like surprisingly, like, you know, like cranes, eagle shots, eagle eye views, canted angles. Other than Kenneth Branagh, you know, no one really does canted angles. You know what I mean? Kenneth Branagh, dude, Thor is like half the movies in canted angles.
Yeah, for like no fucking reason too.
No reason why.
Yeah, it's like things are off kilter.
Remember the black and white musical, the trailer that I sent Belfast?
Yeah.
I bet you at one point it's like when something goes wrong, canted angles, and they're singing sides. They go, "Bum bum, I'm in Belfast. Now I'm gonna be fast." Yeah. So it's like, I appreciate this. Honestly, this film for the longest part, because like as a big Giallo fan, I was very disappointed until the end. I was like, this is like very like below average Giallo shit, and this is like some cool shots. I like the cinematography. The mysteries, just whatever. This would be at the bottom of the. It was like not shit bucket. Obviously, it's too well made for the shit bucket. Yeah. But it's bottom of the pile for Giallo films.
But I really enjoyed the atmosphere.
The atmosphere and stuff.
I think that's why it sets it off so well. Just the opening scene. Immediately, I was like, okay,
sets the tone of.
I think I'm gonna have some fun with this.
If I can have the mic for a minute, what I like is I'm just kidding. The opening scene happens, and I remember in the theater going, "Oh, okay, I like this." And then it goes. Then like the movie starts, and it's. I want to say that it's a boring studio movie for about an hour until the reveal, and then I was like, got it. Cool. Thanks, James Wan. Because it almost like tries to trick you into thinking it's going to be a more conventional movie, which is funny because I feel like they put all their cards on the table in the beginning, right? You have this very like B plot kind of, or B movie kind of feel, and it's like it's time to cut the cancer.
Yeah,
Gabriel.
And then not only that, but like the introduction is very like in your face, like with the title card sequence and everything. Yeah. But then it reverts back to like more boring studio horror. And for a while I'm kind of like, okay, where are we going though? And it is really just kind of by the books for about an hour until it really, once again, just takes out even more cards you didn't know it was holding.
Yeah, the opening sequence
becomes fucking hilarious.
The opening sequence kind of reminded me of like I don't know if you ever go to like horror mazes or like horror like scare places and stuff. Like sometimes they'll make you watch like a quick like 2-minute video as like the intro before you go into the maze. It felt like that. Like I felt like I was about to walk into like a hospital like horror maze.
It's something like at a creep show also too.
Yeah, definitely. It's like I love the setting of like the really dramatic, cool looking like mental hospital or not.
It's like harsh screens and shit.
Yeah, like I was like, this is dope. I like it.
And then, like
another really cool set that they did was the underground.
Oh yeah.
When the detective was chasing her, right?
Yeah,
that was great. That was fucking fantastic.
I was like, I want to go to Seattle and I want to go underneath. And then
Dumbs.
Yeah.
Deep underground military bases.
And that was like one of the no. And one of the things I was like one of the few highlights of like the part that I didn't hate it or anything, right? I just like what's it called? Like for me, I was like because James Wan, because before I knew it was Giallo inspired, like because he was going on and on about it. I tried to not watch the trailers as much. And I was very disappointed. I was like, oh, James Wan, this is the first time I feel like he is really just like playing it safe, right?
Oh, yeah. He wasn't.
No, he wasn't. And then, because at the first it was promising, but then that part right there when they went underground with the detective chasing and shit, I was like, this just feels cool. And then the set, and I was like, this has a budget. This film has a budget, $40 million. not gonna recoup it, but it's like, which is great because you don't even get fucking dramas with $40 million budgets, let alone horror films. Usually like Blumhouse $1-2 million budget films.
Yeah,
like shit. But this one's like, fuck yeah, it's great. None of them went to the actors, but but
I'm glad that fits though.
Yeah,
like because that was also part of it too. Is during like the hour where it's a little more typical, the acting is so bad that I was like, okay, this has to be like what he wanted to capture.
Yeah, it's like not a lot of like big name actors.
Except Annabelle Wallace, like she's the only. She's the best performance in this. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And also McKenna Grace, who plays the young version, she's been showing up everywhere.
Yeah, I really like George Young as Detective Kokoa Shaw, which
he does a good job.
Awesome name, by the way.
I mean, great, cool name. Really?
Yeah, really? I liked him. I liked him. Really? I thought he was fun. I thought he was cool.
Master Saw. That's what you guys.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Blank ass emotions on his face. He could barely move his eyebrows.
It was amazing. But yeah.
Oh gosh, I wished he died. Like in this, I was like hoping he died.
He did die.
He dies at the very end.
No, he doesn't die. He just got like.
Does he not die?
He's not dying. He's still alive.
What?
Yeah.
No,
he just gets stabbed and he's still like moving and shit. And you hear his audio.
Yeah, I figured because he only got stabbed in the shoulder that he probably survived.
He's still alive and stuff. I mean, the guy with the pacemaker, he fucking died. That was great.
Yeah,
I was not saying people with pacemakers should die, but in this film, that was great.
Yeah, why the fuck would we say that?
No, he definitely died because after the police station where he got all fucked up, he then followed them to the hospital and came into the room.
No, his audio's like literally heard at the end too. Yeah, watch it again.
Okay.
Yeah, he's alive at the end. Yeah. And also remember, like oh, don't shoot and stuff like that. Yeah, he's still alive.
Yeah. So
I mean, I wish he died. No, don't get me wrong. I wish he died. I wish he died.
So we get to the part where Madison comes home and she's like, she's obviously pregnant and she deals with who's the guy that plays her husband, the abusive dude. I don't know, but he plays Adam in Supernatural, which I was like, hey, look at that guy.
Is it Derek?
Derek, maybe.
Yeah, Derek, right? Jake right. Yeah, this is Derek Mitchell.
Yeah. Him being like the abusive asshole dude, like
it's so funny because like should we just say the twist right now?
Yeah. I mean, if you're listening to this so far, yeah.
So like the main thing with the twist was we figured out. Blake, you want to do the honors? I feel like you're itching. Your eyes are pulsating. And your chest are beating out. Your nipples are protruding.
It's not even they always are.
Yeah.
It's not even the twist so much as it is the execution. Of the twist. Because I remember at this point I was like, all right, James Wan, you got like 30 minutes left. This is going to be your movie. Make something happen. And oh boy, much like Amazon, he delivered. So fucking...
that was one of your better ones. That was good. That was good.
Hey, I'm really funny, okay? I just want everyone to know in the audience and you guys that you're legally obligated to laugh at every joke I make. Anyways, so towards the end of the movie, we're still kind of not sure what's going on. Is there another killer? Is she going crazy? Is she doing it? Is there some kind of paranormal activity happening? And then they're watching the footage of Madison as a little girl, and the camera's kind of panning on there, and they're doing some kind of procedure we don't know. But then it turns over, and it turns out she has a malignant tumor that doubles as a half-brother that can kind of...
not even half-brother. It's like...
Or as her conjoined twin.
Conjoined
twin.
Her parasitic twin.
Her parasitic malignant twin that is secretly controlling her. And then simultaneously this is happening, she's getting bullied in jail. And it kind of reminded me of a scene from... Do you remember the terrible Ghost Rider movie?
Oh, where she's like, oh, let me out.
Yeah. Let me out. It's kind of similar to that scene where her malignant twin takes over and hilariously murders the fuck out of everyone in that prison cell.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yes.
And then you see her just sitting there in the prison cell with everybody still alive, and you're like, oh, she doesn't know this is going on.
And it looks like it's like Matrix style fighting, the way it's like doing all this crazy
It's so bad.
It's
honestly,
so
that really
funny,
like,
though.
I don't know. That really kind of pissed me off.
Really?
Really?
I was like, at this point in the movie, I didn't care. I was honestly waiting for it to end. And then this happened, and I was like, oh, fuck, he's going there. Yeah. I was laughing so hard, and the rest of the theater looked generally confused. It was funny. It's a really funny twist.
No, that was
It was
fun.
just the CGI was so bad. It was
really.
So
I
bad.
thought it looked pretty good.
No.
Yeah, I thought
it
it was
looked
pretty decent.
really good,
honestly.
actually.
Yeah, and it's not even like mostly CGI. It's like they have they're practical. They have like
No, it just looked like a fucking rag doll being thrown around the room. And
I
you
thought it
like
looked
stab
really
her.
good.
it's like basically what they did. Okay. Like before we get into that, because like we're gonna go into the whole sequence and the tiny pause how they did, or at least from what I could piece together from the internet, I'm guessing. So so like that twist happened. So and then we go back to Derek, and we're jumping all the way back. But
he pushes her head back and it awakens Gabriel.
And I'm kind of like, so
I don't know if that's how that would happen.
Exactly, because I'm thinking like, well, it's fine. Honestly, this one was so ridiculous that I let it slide. That really, she never accidentally bumped her head. What if she just like goes to the playground and accidentally bumps her head on the swing, and like Gabriel comes like, starts chopping the kids up and throwing their limbs on the streets.
I think when she hit her head on the wall, it cracked her skull. And
that's
I
what I'm
think
saying.
that he was,
Yeah, he does hit her like especially hard.
Yeah,
so I'll give him that.
You don't think? No, it's fine. It's not a criticism. I'm just like, it's funny.
How many times have you hit your head where it's like cracked?
5.
Wait, I was like, 5. Never mind.
Well, whatever. I mean, but also he's been a lingering presence through like a good portion of her life too. That's just also established.
If John Krasinski had directed this, it would have just been his whole body on the back of her. Going,
but no, they also do explain it though, because he was eating her babies. That's why.
Yeah, he was eating her babies.
Yeah, that's why she had so many miscarriages, and he's like using their stem cells or some shit to like rebuild himself.
Which I love.
Ron,
Very scientifically accurate.
Philip, you know he did consult with actual like neurosurgeons on this. They were like, "Yes, this is exactly how it works, James Wan."
And I think the screenwriter
This
too.
movie isn't going for realism. Who the fuck cares?
No, I know.
People
I
are
don't really
like
care. But I just
criticizing.
like.
I don't get like the high
It's hilarious.
criticism. I don't know. To me, this is the ultimate. Like he wanted to make like a bad B movie, and he just fucking did it. And honestly,
I don't even think it's bad. It's like it's
but
fucking.
I'd say it's
so
definitely
weird.
ridiculous.
It's definitely a B film, but again, he brings that technical
Aspect
aspect
to
of
But
it that like
because of that,
elevates
it's so
it.
odd.
Yeah, it's like a well polished B. It has like A+ level talent, but with like a B movie story, which is I love it.
This
I
reminded
like
me
it
of
too.
like is it Basket Case or something that one?
Oh, that's the one.
That's a song by Green Day.
And that one had a very. I mean, it's very different, but like it's very similar.
Yeah, it just reminded me of that the weird little creature fucking thing.
Oh my god, yeah, Gabriel looked so fucking weird.
Yeah, but it was great. I love that how he
was
looked.
Yeah, I love the design of Gabriel, honestly.
Yeah.
And and I think that's like an authentic Giallo films where you have a B schlocky fucking story.
Yeah.
But you have like A+ level talent, like making it and stuff.
And I think that's like the like we were talking about, like there aren't any like modern slasher characters that like really stand out and stuff. Honestly, I think I put Gabriel.
Yeah,
he's getting up there. I mean, this is only one film. Yeah,
I don't think they're making another.
Yeah, they're definitely not gonna make a sequel to this, or they might make some like Blumhouse sequel. Who knows? But it's like that's fun. It stands up, I think, to like a lot of other kind of those slasher characters that have been introduced in the past like 10 years.
Yeah, I think it is the best slasher game. 10 years.
They don't really make slasher movies anymore.
So-
the closest thing we've got is like the It remakes.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
So
What's
they
her
could
name?
do a follow up to this where she has a baby and Gabriel escapes into the baby by transferring
God.
himself into that.
You know what? That'd be interesting. I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
I wanna see, like, a
Your best
spider
pitch.
movie.
Yeah.
I want to see like Gabriel's arms break out of the baby's body and like start walking around and shit.
Yeah.
Why not?
I know I've referenced Nightmare on Elm Street 2 a few times now, but there, in that movie, it's basically Freddy. He escapes into the real world through the body of the kid who's like living in his old house or whatever, and it's like they could do something like that where he just pushes his way out through that. That'd be fun.
Mm-hmm.
My gosh, Gabriel. I would like to see a sequel. I mean, we know we're not. I mean, it's a $40 million budget.
I don't know. This movie's almost like a magic trick in a way. It's like making you look at one thing and then doing another thing. Like it's seriously, honestly. As much as people seem to not like this movie, I think it kind of was made for cinephiles in a way where you're being bored by what you think is a boring studio movie, like just another, I don't know, typical movie, and then out of fucking nowhere, it's like, hope you like terrible B movies. And I don't know, I gotta say,
Tarantino's favorite film.
This is very like Tarantino in a way.
Yeah, I can see Tarantino loving this movie.
I'm just gonna say though, it looked so good.
I thought you were going to say it looks so bad.
No, it looked good.
Yeah, no, it's really well shot, too, which is what adds to it.
Well, are you about to say that the Graybill looked bad?
What?
Like, are you about to say it looks so good, but Gabriel looks bad? Or that sequence looks bad?
No, I'm just saying that the movie just overall looked good.
When they have a Matrix-style fight at the police station.
I would know it's Matrix
so
style.
ridiculous.
No,
It's not Matrix style. This is how I know you just didn't watch the Matrix properly.
Matrix, I've seen the Matrix.
I
It's
don't
okay.
think so.
We're not getting into
Yeah,
this.
we're gonna get
right
a
now.
3 hour. We have an episode for that later on, but what's it called? Yeah, it's dude, fuck, that was great. Let's go into in between shit. Like, you know, it's by the way, everything with her sister, I could not give a fuck about Sydney.
No.
I could not give a fuck about Detective Regina Moss or Detective Cocoa Shaw. I could not give a fuck. Oh, well, we find out Jane Doe is Serena May, their mom.
So I do think that going when her sister has the scene towards the end where she actually goes to the insane asylum or whatever it was, the simian research institution.
It's really funny.
No, but like I'm expecting the whole time for something to happen,
Yeah,
and I think
it's funny.
no, it's a really good fake out there
Yeah.
because it's like you don't know who the killer is, and you're like, oh fuck, is the killer like living at the simian research place?
Well, it's
Yeah.
not just that. It's like also
Yeah.
her car goes like directly
Yeah.
to the fucking edge of a cliff, and like
Yeah.
all this like
Yeah.
shit that makes you think something's gonna happen. That's what I mean. I honestly think that this movie is supposed to be just really funny.
Yeah, it's very
Like, this is a
personal.
comedy. This is a horror comedy.
Yeah.
Like its finest.
Like James Bond, very aware of what he's doing.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
very
Yeah.
aware. He's like just having fun. He's going wild. He's talking his Australian accent. He's like, I'm just trying to do whatever the fuck I want. I made Aquaman $1 billion. I can make this film. Yeah, you lose $50 million. It's fine.
I do what I want.
Yeah, I mean, I'm making Aquaman 2 next year, which is actually he's finished shooting, I think. But yeah, this is fun as fuck. Yeah, I don't give a fuck about anybody except Gabriel Madison.
I don't even care about any of the characters. It's just fun.
Yeah, I think he the kills were
Ridiculous.
yeah, they're ridiculous. You had the first one, which was like, you know, broke his neck, like
Yeah, just
Broke
completely
Derek.
broke
Caden.
it all the way back, which is great. I like the way that they revealed it too. Where it's just
Yeah.
like you creep in and you show it and burn, it works. Like that opening sequence, I know we're saying it was very like generic kind of
I
like
still enjoyed it, yeah.
standard stuff, but I think again it goes to the James Bond ability to make that work. Like it was creepy. Like
Yeah.
you know, as they're moving through their house, the shadowy figure, a lot of it was a little predictable, but it worked.
yeah. He doesn't do. I like that he also doesn't do fake scares.
No,
a lot of
yeah.
directors do fake scares where it's just like a friend touches the glass, and then you have
Yeah.
the jump scare music. But he doesn't do that usually.
No.
99% of the time.
Well, I think that he really replaced that with like potential scares that
That he-
don't end up
yeah.
happening.
yeah, but I'm
Yeah,
talking about
which
like
is
the jump.
cool,
I'm
I
talking about
think.
like jump
Yeah.
scare music. Like he doesn't use jump scare music to
Yeah.
for
Thank
fake
God.
scares, and thank
Yeah.
God, because he's talented enough not to rely on that shit. Not the other Conjuring universe makers, but whatever. But yeah, it's like it's fucking hilarious, and then you get and then you know like it kills Derek, then it kills the doctors like Florence Weaver and Victor Fields and stuff. All the stabbing with the weapon's badass, by the way. I love the outfit. I love
yeah,
black
no.
gloves.
Yeah.
The outfit's ridiculous too.
Well, no, the outfit's
It's
just
great.
cool how he like puts it on so it like is backwards basically.
Yeah,
Like the scenes where he's like putting it on and stuff. I don't know. I like that.
No,
It's
I loved
cool.
it.
Yeah.
Just the whole like the chase sequence we're talking
Yeah.
about later.
Yeah.
Not to just jump ahead, but I love that just like you see him running, and it clearly looks like someone running backward to something off.
Yeah.
You know, it really adds to it. Just
And that's
like
a consistent detail. I like that, even
Yeah.
though it's like it's not logical, but it follows its own weird logic rules that
Yeah.
it creates.
And it makes it feel like this is an otherworldly type of guy, which really pissed me off with the police department, where they're like, "Oh yeah, the murder weapon's in your house. We found it." The fucking lights like go out, and they're like acting like everything's normal. Like the lights blow up,
Okay,
and
one question.
why are they not like, okay, there might be some other shit going on
One
here?
question: why can Gabriel control like electric things?
Because they were like Gabriel's the demon or something. Yeah, that's what
She
like
calls
the
him the
mom
devil,
the devil.
but
Pretty
still,
much, I'm assuming like he's some type of demonic tumor.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I didn't
You
want
could
to
say he's malignant.
I wouldn't even. What's it called? I'm glad they didn't get into.
Mic drop.
Boom. I'm glad they didn't get into like
Don't drop our
his
mics.
demonic origins, because I would have been dragged. This film was like.
Oh, if they do a sequel,
I hope
Oh,
not.
yeah, I'm sure
Actually,
they're
never
going
mind.
to-
I
they're
changed my
gonna
mind.
go
I
to
don't want a
yeah.
sequel.
they're gonna go to a village where they all worship Gabriel or some shit.
Yeah. For
This
sure.
film was like a tight 1.5 hour, 1 hour 40.
Yes.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
I like.
Perfect runtime.
No,
Jeez.
I'll say that like even though like that middle sequence, it's not like the most exciting stuff. The pacing felt pretty good.
Yeah.
Like I felt the whole time that the movie was moving pretty well. I watched this movie very late last night. Sorry to confess that, but like it kept me.
Not just this
interested.
film.
Yeah.
I saw it in the cinema.
I wish I did see it in the movie theater. I might do it anyways.
I just bought the tickets and to support it, like the A-listing, but didn't go. I did that for Many Saints in Newark.
Yeah.
Where I was like, because I watched it, I'm like, I don't feel like I need to see it. But then I bought tickets, didn't go, but then it goes towards. Do that. If you have A-list, put this movie on your 3 reservations. You're not going to watch 3 movies a week. Unless you're me, but what's it called? Yeah, and also finding that Regina Moss was like, it's probably the wife. It's always the spouse. But you see Derek's body completely crumbled.
Yeah.
Oh, she must have like gargantuan fucking strength.
How the fuck do you expect this pregnant lady? I'm sorry, you said the fingerprints were upside down, like they're hanging from the ceiling. You think this pregnant lady was hanging from the ceiling and snapped her husband's neck all the way around?
Regina, no, she's super smart.
This movie doesn't care about logic, and
no, I understand that, but I'm just saying as the policeman's logic here.
Yeah. It's like they're all B actresses except Annabelle Wallace and McKenna Grace. Those are actually like the ones that count, and they're fucking fantastic. And the contortionist, she's not an actress, but dude, she did a great job. It's not double.
They had a contortionist, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the movement's really good too.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, like that one prison sequence, Zoe Bell plays.
She was there. I was like, great. I was
like, hey.
At first, I was like, is this Zoe?
Yeah.
I was like, is this Zoe? Dude, I love seeing Zoe Bell everywhere.
Yeah, she's a fantastic stunt actual actor as well. Like, I mean, not to say stunt people aren't actors.
Yeah, she was like that. She was even Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, right? Kurt Russell's wife.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, what are you doing? It's like
this guy's a wife killer.
Is she New Zealand or Australian?
She's New Zealand. You never mix a Kiwi with an Aussie.
Exactly. That's what I want to make sure. I want to offend you, Zoe Bell. I respect you. That's why I asked the question.
What did everybody think of the melting room sequences that he did?
Oh, I love that.
Those were really well done.
Yeah. I was like, once again, like this film has a budget.
Yeah. That like showed up that. Again, with the lower budget, like a cheaper kind of B film, like it wouldn't have worked. They probably just flash into another room or something. But the melting wall, great.
And it was like a 360 shot. That's really hard to cheat.
The one in the doctor's house was really especially cool too.
Yeah, I think like they probably had to shoot one time with the actual set. Then one time on a green screen on the same person. Then one time without her, and
probably,
or just, all bring it together, right?
Or they just opened a time vortex and just had it
probably. That's probably easier, right?
If this was Nolan, he would have actually.
He would have joke. You read my mind.
I saw his eyebrows itch as soon as you mentioned. Eyebrows itch. I was like, Blake's gonna say that.
That's it. You read my mind.
Dude, I fucking like any other person with the Interstellar scene would use CGI for like when he goes in the black
Interstellar blows.
I love Interstellar.
We're not gonna get into that. Okay,
get into that. I mean, it's fine. We established. Never. I'm not gonna get into that. And then you get into like the murders were fun. They were cool. I mean, they're standard all the stuff. Like honestly, like none of the kills were as inventive until the end.
Tumors collapsing,
and then, but when
tumors.
When that third act happened, we find out that Gabriel is a tumor, and then the reveal happened. I was like, oh shit! And then on top of that, it's just like the sequence of it coming out. I mean, this is probably a mix because I know like something they attach some type of I try to do as much research as I can. Reddit. That's why I want to get the Blu-ray to see the official VFX breakdown.
I would love to see how they accomplished pretty much just everything.
And from what I could tell, the theory is that they shot it multiple times, but one with just a green screen attached to her head, and one with the actual just
the practical
replica of her, and they just had
that's how you do it.
A certain rig where it's motion rig to the exact same thing.
Nice.
And it just pulsating out, and there's a puppeteer who's mechanically controlling on the side.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So I thought that that whole sequence where the mom and the younger sister were watching the videotapes was really well done, because as I was watching through that, I was thinking, okay, so Madison was at this institute also, and she must have had a mental connection to this kid there, right? Or there was some connection between them. And then I was like, oh shit, they're brother and sister, and they're both from this mom. And that's why they got a mental connection, and just kept on going through it. And it's like, oh yeah, this fucking freaky tumor guy is telling her what to do.
Yeah.
And then they pan around at the end of that after talking to her, and it's like, oh fuck, it's a tumor on her, and it's the best way to reveal it.
Yeah, it looked really great. The practical effects and shit.
I will say, I mean, I hate to be that dude, but I totally saw it coming that was gonna be her twin.
I'm Malignant.
Malignant, and I was like, okay, she's probably her twin. And then when they did the whole I thought it was gonna be
the blood on the head and shit.
Yeah, no, I thought it was gonna be that like it was like her like the kind of tumor thing, but maybe it got separated or something.
Yeah.
But as it kind of progressed, I really can't name the point where I was like, oh, it's probably attached to her. See, I think it was when she was like, or during the chase sequence. There you go. See, like when it was kind of running backwards, I was like, oh, I see where this is going. Yeah, but I mean, it was still fun. Like I enjoyed it. That's a great mark of it. Yeah.
For me, I always thought that she was the killer, but I didn't know that. And then like Gabriel's basically like, so I thought if anything they're gonna go with possession shit or whatever, or like it's something like that, or like her face changes or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's like a parasite in her mind, right? Or like a tumor in her head. But I did not know the tumor would actually pop at the back of her head like that.
Yeah, that was cool.
The full reveal, and then again the prosthetics and everything else. Elevated it. Yes.
I want to see Gabriel fight a Demogorgon.
Dude, he would rip the fuck out of that Demogorgon.
Yeah, he probably would.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, dude. And I love that it doesn't make any sense, but somehow when Gabriel takes control of Madison's body, he's a basically superhuman. He's like, yeah, he could kill Captain America probably.
No, but then at the end, she's like, no, it was always me. I've always had the strength. And then she like struggles to pick up the bed that he just tossed across the room. And it's like,
I like the part where it's like this, as the detective, as Shaw is like chasing after him in the underground, and this thing's like doing crazy parkour, and he's just going deeper and deeper into this underground. I'm like, you're kind of an idiot, man. No, you see how ridiculously powerful this thing is, and like all the crazy shit it's doing.
I'm surprised like Gabriel didn't just like kill him instantly.
Yeah, it's like, why wouldn't he?
Dude, at the end, by the way, let's talk about the end sequence. Like, Gabriel kills like the fucking police station. It was fantastic.
The entire police station.
Yeah, it was like, like the first Terminator or something.
I love that. Was one of my favorite wonders this year. Oh my gosh, just like the 360 revolving. It's creepy looking too, because they have the contortionist. They have the prosthetic mask of Annabelle Wallis's head on the back, so it looks super fucking weird and creepy as she's like killing people backwards and shit.
Yeah,
and then chopping their limbs off and going back and forth, and she's like, like it looks like Edward Scissorhands, but like sexy. I don't know. Like I was like
I don't know about
oddly turned on. Like, damn, that's my woman right there. You know what I mean? Or woman man. Because Gabriel's a man. Yeah. But I was like, yeah, that's what I want. That's what I see. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hottest chick of the year for sure.
We're talking about Gabriel, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's fucking great. And everybody died. Dude, they had guns, and he was dodging it back and forth.
That's what I mean. It reminded me of the Matrix a little bit.
Yeah, well, the Matrix like it's like a lot of slow motion or
the bullet time and stuff.
Bullet time, and the shot too. It's a lot more, steady in pans and shit.
Yeah,
just like, dude, James Wan, dude, bravo, brilliant shit. You did your best.
I respect the fuck out of the fact that he just wanted to make this movie and he fucking made it.
I know he probably lost like a lot of connections, but I mean, no, he'll be fine. Aquaman 2 will make another 900, 800, well, maybe $1 billion, and he'll be back on the graces.
Yeah.
If he made,
I feel like this movie's gonna age better.
Oh, absolutely.
This will be a cult classic.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, critical reviews are like, it's certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, 75%. So it's already critically well reviewed.
Yeah, people.
A lot of people hate it though. Like, I don't think they get like what it's going for.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's pretty split amongst the normies. Yeah, the normies. I call you guys the normies. I'm sorry, people.
The normatives.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
The normatives.
Yeah, you guys, you normies. I look down on you guys. I'm just kidding.
Jeez, way to like isolate our fan base here.
Yeah, I know,
our 51 subscribers. Hey, by the way, thanks for subscribing. We got 51 subscribers. Woo!
Yeah, all of you I probably look down on. I'm just kidding. I'm joking. I'm joking. Maybe not. But yeah, it's like I said, it's pretty split, and I understand why. We have something. B horror movies don't do well with modern audiences. They don't want to be challenged. They want a very simple. They don't like genre bending does not do well if you're not a Marvel film. Yeah. Like for I'm not saying it doesn't do well in terms of quality, but in terms of normies, like they watch and go, ugh, it's not pure horror comedy. They hate that shit.
Still, my favorite horror film of all time is VHS. So
of all time.
Of all time. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, Miles.
Well, it's already established Miles isn't a fan of horror.
I'm not, but I like VHS.
Which VHS?
The first one?
Isn't Jennifer Carpenter in that?
No, I don't think so.
She's in...
Which one? There's several.
Oh no, she's in. You're thinking of Quarantine.
That's not VHS. That's terrible.
Yeah,
that's the worst version of Wreck.
I will rage on Quarantine, man, because it takes a fantastic Spanish horror film.
Yes, we watched it at our house.
Yeah, that found footage style, which is like, it's been overplayed, but they did it so great. Watch Wreck, okay? Don't watch
horror
Quarantine.
movie is Ernest Saves Halloween.
Yeah, even if you watch Quarantine, watch Wreck.
We were gonna ignore that.
Ernest Saves Halloween. Anybody?
This will be very horror themed month.
Yeah.
What's it called? So.
Why is there something about this month?
I know. So
Spooky-tober.
Yeah, it was a wild time. I liked it. Okay, let's let's get into Kazuki. So I paired this with Tenebrae for a reason, right?
Yeah,
because one of the the films he mentioned was like Phenomena. What's it called? What's it called?
Deep Red.
Deep Red. I mentioned Opera. That was the other Argento weird films that he was doing. And Tenebrae was like the Jolly.
Like how he danced around saying Suspiria. You don't want to sound Suspiria. You wouldn't come off basic,
No. He specifically said that he purposely did not try to not rip off Suspiria.
Oh, okay.
He's like, that's like the one that they go to the most. And he said that he.
Well, just from what I've seen of Suspiria, it doesn't seem to like carry anything with it.
Similarities. He said he specifically watched like his weirder off kilter one to kind of go into. And to be honest, when I watched it, I was like, I guess I see something, but not really.
Yeah.
But then, or at least like it's like a neutered version of like if let's say the third act didn't happen, if we watched it back to back, it's a very much neutered version of Tenebrae. Like if the third act didn't happen without the Gabriel stuff, in terms of the kills and stuff.
In
terms of the kills,
but nothing else. It's very surface level.
Yeah, I don't really think that. Yeah, outside of like the gloves and the.
Oh no, I'm talking about like in terms of if you compare the kills and like the style and stuff like that. Like I thought like
I don't know. To be honest, I'd compare this more to like a fucking 80s B movie than I would to like Giallo.
Then you should jump off a cliff.
I don't know. I just see a lot of like B movie schlock in this, which I understand Giallo does, but I don't know. I personally
you haven't seen enough Giallo films.
I personally see a lot of terrible B movies.
Because you personally haven't seen that much. I'm sorry. I really mean. You know what I
mean? What do you mean? Like when you're saying you look down on our audience?
He was saying he looks down on you two specifically.
No. Just like I'm just kidding. I'm joking. And Miles too sometimes. But then
let us know in the comments what you think of Philip's, film elitism.
I completely admit I'm a snob.
You should become a metalhead. They're exactly like you. I only listen to black metal that was recorded on the night of 1982 of the Blood Moon.
But different from the other film snobs, I do watch the Marvel movies and all that stuff too, because I understand their place. And this, it's fun. Everything has its place. But whatever. Okay, going back to this, I kind of see, like what he did take from this, for like the dual identity, the dark double aspect of it, where like,
Ron's watching football.
I am not watching football. I'm trying to. No.
Sport Bowl. The Denver omelets versus the Philly cheesesteaks. Am I
right? So like, what's it called? Like in terms of like, what's it called? Yeah, we have the black gloves and all that shit, and like the event horror stuff. But yeah, like, and we also get the weapons, right? Like the signature weapons and shit like that. And even, but with the Tenebrae stuff, like the dark double stuff, and the killer being like the main character, and it's actually like a dark hidden secret to him, and it got unleashed by in Tenebrae it was like unleashed by sexuality and what's it called, and his only way to get back to normal is annihilation through murder. In this case it's kind of like the same. Gabriel is like Peter Neal near the end or something, and then I see that, and some of the like the double shots and all that shit, I could see what he pulled from that, and even the structure of the film is somewhat similar. Like there's kills every 10 15 20 minutes on top of that, and then you get the big reveal at the end where it's the killer was the main character the entire time. And I mean, he definitely put his own twist on the Giallo shit, which I like.
Well, I mean, this is basically just a retelling of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
I don't know that it's
but the difference is that
I saw a lot of inspiration from George of the Jungle too.
But the difference is that with Jekyll and Hyde is that like it's still the same face. It's still they're still the same body, right? And you don't see the other person.
It's just also like
the personality.
Talking about like your like the inner like animalistic kind of desires of people or whatever.
Yeah.
coming out, and this is not really like this is
literally two people in one person.
Yeah, this isn't like Madison's inhibitions.
This isn't trying to make some fucking big statement, okay? It's trying to be dumb as fuck and hilarious and fun.
Yeah,
this isn't exactly the most nuanced film I've seen in my life.
I do like.
Not all
I also
films need nuance.
I also do appreciate the giallo colors, the blue, reds, and all that shit.
Yeah. No, the color scheme is definitely there. That's
and then the fuck ton of blood. Yes. Oh, the sound effects are just like so satisfying. I'm like, oh yeah, just like the blood stabbing in the neck and just the guts coming out, dude. It's just like this is what I dream of. This is what I get wet on. You know what I mean? Oh fuck yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. You know what I mean? That's what happens when you watch HBO series as little kids. But yeah. Okay, so I mean, wait. Well, anything last thing? What's it called? Because mostly what's talk about is like the last 30 minutes or so. What do you guys think of his electricity powers?
I honestly, I found it kind of
fucking
dumb.
loved it.
I found it dumb just because they don't explain it, but whatever. What the fuck?
Yeah, at this point,
like
they do explain it. They're trying to treat him with electroshock therapy. So
and he drinks it.
Yeah. He learns to consume the electricity and re-release it through radio waves.
What do you guys think will happen to Madison at the end? She's totally going to go to jail or a psychiatric hospital, unless she gets Gabriel back out there and she just fucking escapes into the wild.
Who knows? Honestly, I like with the logic of this film, I feel like she's just gonna get away.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, like she killed all the cops.
Yeah, I know.
Bring on the army. She'll dodge all the bullets.
I think
she'll slap the missiles back at the helicopters.
I think she's gonna get out.
Maybe at the very end, Nick Fury will come and recruit her. To
she's like, "You're way better than Steve. You want to come in?"
Well, no, she killed all the people that were looking into her, so there's nobody left to find her.
Dude, she would be like a member of the Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Amanda Waller actually comes by, coming in.
I would watch a Suicide Squad 3 with.
With Gabriel. Fuck yeah, I would see that.
Yeah, James Bond, you're into that DCEU world.
Make a pitch.
Yeah, this is a
have
secret
him fold
super
into
villain.
to the DC world.
Annabelle Wallace. And, maybe have her like a duo team with TDK, the detachable kid.
I'm here to speak to you about the Suicide Squad initiative.
La 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 la. And she's like right in the back of his head.
I'd love to see James Gunn spin on this.
I could just see Amanda Waller passing by a cell, detached malignant tumor brother.
Please, you guys, my plea to Warner Brothers, you guys know every single one except Godzilla vs. Kong has failed the day and date release.
Yeah.
This film probably would have done really well if you did the day and date. Please, for Dune, for fuck's sake, there's a couple weeks left.
Please.
It's making so much money outside. You know why? People can't pirate it. When it's on streaming, people think it's lesser films.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they don't watch it. Let's be honest. I love Many Saints in Newark, even though I paid for a ticket. I didn't watch it in theaters because it was on HBO Max. You gotta force these lazy fucks to watch your film.
At least give it 3 days in theaters before you put it on HBO Max.
Just give it a
opening.
Days,
I can't wait to watch it on my iPad Nano.
The weird thing is, based on his, I know Blake will watch it in theaters, but he will actually do that. He'll actually.
Those little tiny iPod, the Nanos from 2007. I'm gonna see if I can download the file and watch it on there because that's how
Blake wants to watch No Time to Die, which is probably gonna be one of the most prettiest films this year, along with Dune and shit. Shot entirely IMAX. He's like, is this streaming anywhere?
The only thing I care about when it comes to No Time to Die is what's his name?
Joji Fukunaga.
Mr. Robot. What's his
You
name?
mean
Rami
Rami Malek.
Rami.
It's the only thing I care about.
Yeah.
I don't care about James Bond that much.
Yeah, I mean, because you're.
Well, we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah.
Yes.
But please watch it in IMAX, Blake. Please, just.
Is it streaming?
What's it called? I'll have to throw you off a cliff sometime.
I'm gonna tell everyone to stream it.
What's it called?
So
let's get into final thoughts and opinion. Because overall, I'll just go right off the bat. Enjoyed it, had fun. Rating my surprise, even though I say it's schlocky bullshit. I would buy this on the shelf. I would put it on there. Fuck yeah, Criterion. This should
be more an Arrow.
I would love to see Criterion.
Arrow video.
This should be an Arrow.
Actually, this is definitely a movie where it'd be cool to see James Wan's commentary on it.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I would watch. Dude, I'm thinking honestly for Halloween, if my girlfriend lets me, totally be down to get all the fucking alcohol in the world. We watch it and we get drunk off watching this film.
I'll definitely put this one also also on the shelf. Pretty easily too. Like this, I just had so much fun watching
Yeah,
it.
you
It's
put
the most fun
Tenebrae
I've
on
had.
streaming.
It's the
Yes,
most.
you put Tenebrae on
Yeah,
streaming.
because it's a better movie.
Oh, whoa!
You're going to
You
cinephile hell.
know, you take that back, you fucking whore.
I'll definitely, it's the most fun I've had watching a horror film in a while, a new horror film, and I want to own it. I want
This
to
film
see
would
the
not
behind the
exist without
scenes.
Tenebrae.
Yeah, like
or
I want to
any
support
other
James
films.
Wan's, madness when it comes to horror. Like, good stuff, man. Branch out, get wild. I love it.
So now that the whore has spoken, like,
Well, I respect the fuck out of this movie. It's like you said, it's dumb, stupid schlock, and it doesn't make sense, and it throws logic out the window. But I'll say this. James Wan had a vision, and he made it come to life, which I always respect. I've put worse movies on streaming or I've put way better movies in streaming, to be honest, and this definitely probably belongs there, but I'm fucking putting it on the shelf.
okay, at least you admit that there's better movies on streaming.
I have rated way better movies.
Yeah, Tenebrae is better than this.
This is the most hypocritical rating I'll ever give in my entire life. But I want to own it. I want that fucking Blu-ray.
Yeah, I do. I'm not joking. Arrow Video or Janus Films or Criterion Collection. I'm pulling all the.
It's probably going to be Arrow. If anyone's going to release it, it would be Arrow.
Maybe. I have to dust off my region-free Blu-ray player. You know what I mean? Like Tenebrae is also Arrow Films, the best version to watch. You know what I mean? All right.
So as you guys know, there's two types of films that I absolutely despise: horror films and Marvel films. Well,
this is a horror Marvel.
Go. What?
This is a horror film done by a guy who directed a superhero film, but he also did a lot of other horror films. So really, if you think about it, this should be something that I should not like at all based on what my tastes are. But surprisingly, I really enjoyed my time watching this film. I thought it was a fun, interesting film, and I'm going to put it on the shelf. And surprisingly,
First time we did all on the shelf.
You sounded like you were giving a eulogy or something.
He's like,
the good time.
Miles has been reborn.
Yeah, after I've been violated by all these Marvel and DC fanboys, and then my ass, I could never walk back the straight way. But this film saved me. He found me Jesus.
it gave me hope for the future.
Yeah.
Oh, no, but I think James Wan did a great job with this film, doing like Blake said, doing exactly what he wanted to do and doing that well.
This is super admirable.
Now, is the plot super strong? No, but any horror plots ever strong? No.
Yes, but
there are
good horror movies.
I mean, we're coming up on a film we're gonna be talking about later that I think holds up fantastically.
Yes.
We'll get to that.
I wonder what Miles will think.
I wonder what I would think.
So it's this film is fucking fun. Watch it. What's it called? Like I said, it's worse than Tenebrae, but it's very fun. It's called, you guys, you whores, you disgusting bitches.
All right, guys, thanks for listening. All right, let us know what you think of Malignant. Did you like it? Was it fun for you? Did you hate it? Please, we want to know.
This is the type of film that'll probably show up on like the Blank Check podcast, or like when they talk about directors that do really well, that get that one movie they can do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah. This is James Wan's Inception.
Yeah,
it kind of is.
Yeah.
Okay, so let us know. We read all of your comments, all two of them.
Yes, all two of them. Sometimes it might be the same YouTube channel, Emo Fart Man. We appreciate you.
The Beef Productions. Hey, shout out to the Beef, man. Thanks for commenting. We love you.
Subscribe.
All right, guys. Have a good night. We love you.
When you shove it up your ass, you're gonna go tall and eat the grass. Malignant.
I'm just gonna let him burn.